Hello there and a very good morning to you. My name's Debbie Shaw. I'm going to be with you here for the next 4 hours. We've got a jam-packed full day today actually. We're launching the next one of our Flower of the Month in any second now. In the next hour we have Katherine here and we're going to be doing some hand embroidery. And then at 10 o'clock Noel's here and we've got the Gyro-Cutter, but we've got new blades and things in that one. And then Katherine's going to be back again at 11 o'clock as well. So we've got lots of demos. So it's going to be Christmas placemats and coasters coming up at 11 o'clock. So we've got lots to show you today. Have we got anybody here already? If you want to join me on Facebook, then do pop along. It's the Sewing Street Facebook page and I've got it open on my phone now, so if you've got any comments or questions we can answer those and address them as they come through. So just come and say hello, good morning, what are you up to? What would you like to see? What are you sewing at the moment? Got any UFOs? Then come and let us know, or of course you can drop us an email if you like, send over some pictures, and that's studio@sewingstreet.com if you would like to get in touch that way. So it's really easy. Oh, Linda's first in this morning. Linda, welcome along. Looking forward to the show, she said. Sandra's here as well. Good morning, Sandra. Had a message from Janice already this morning as well. Hi, Janice. And she's saying, oh, hi, Susan as well. So we're busy already, aren't we? So anyway, early bird. This is one of our most popular early birds, and they're Frixion pens. Now, if you haven't seen these before, they are heat erasable pens, and I'll be honest with you, they're not designed for fabric. They're brilliant on paper, they are brilliant on fabric, and I use them an awful lot. They're one of my favorite tools in my stash, but do test on a piece of fabric first of all, because sometimes they can bleach, okay, just to warn you. But these are invaluable if you're marking in seam allowances, if you're transferring little notches, if you're drawing an outline, if you're drawing around a pattern, anywhere that's not going to be right on the front of your fabric. If it is going to be on the front of your fabric and you're going to see it, just do a test. The majority of fabrics, to be honest, the ink will disappear really easily with heat without leaving a mark. And yes, we know that if you put your work in the freezer it may come back again, but it has to be about -12 for the ink to come back again. So I like to use these because I like water erasable ink, I like air erasable ink. Water erasable ink can you need to can't write and talk at the same time. With a water erasable you've got to get your work damp, and with air erasable it can take hours, it can take a couple of days for the ink to disappear. Meanwhile, if you're making something and you're using those kind of pens, you can't iron them, so you can't press as you go, because that will make the ink permanent. So that's why I love Frixion pens, because I can mark, I can iron, okay, it's going to disappear, but I can remark again, and it's just really simple. Now on the end of each pen is a rubber or an eraser. So if you're marking on paper like what I have here, you can simply rub it away. You can use heat on the paper if you want to, but this is the way that it's been designed to use. So again, if you're designing, if you're making up patterns, if you're, I don't know, writing instructions, but do again be aware this is heat erasable. So if you're going to write something and leave it in your window, then the sunshine could actually make that disappear. So sounds like a lot of negatives with these pens, doesn't it? I just want to make you really aware of what they are designed for and what they're actually capable of. But literally, I've got every colour you could imagine with these, and I do get through an awful lot of them. So we've put together 4 colours for you. So you have the black, and we've got the green. Morning, Kirsty. Oh, Kirsty's first day back after a week off. Nightmare already, but oh dear. Only been back for an hour. Morning, Joan as well. Nice to have your company this morning. She's trying to make a cushion using foundation paper piecing. First time of finding it tricky. Persevere, it will be brilliant. Morning, Helen. And oh, Rosemary says it's stopped raining in South Wales. Oh, jolly good, but the garden will be loving it, won't it? Hi Heidi, hi Ellen, hi Chris, hi Caroline, and Michelle, hi Deb, hi Marion, and Pauline, hi Pauline, and Carol, and oh hi Jenny, and Lorraine, and Susan, and Sandra, and oh, I've gone back over you again now, haven't I? Hi Pat. Hi Pat says evening, ladies. Where are you? Where are you in the evening? Because it's just gone 8 o'clock in the morning here. Morning Lady Kay, morning Christine. She's only discovered Sewing Street a couple of weeks ago, but she's hooked. Spent far too much, so don't tempt me this morning. That's my job. I've got to tempt you. Pat's in Queensland in Australia. Ooh, Kat, who is producing today, will hopefully be with you in April. Well, not with you, but she's travelling over to Queensland in April. Lovely. So, back to doing my job. Those are all of the 4 colours, so you can really see them standing out here. And to erase them from fabric, you can rub them out, but it takes a while. You're just going to take a warm iron, and are you ready for this? It's good, isn't it? Magic. Do it again. Do it again. So we have, actually it won't work if the fabric's warm. We have the red. We have the blue. We have, they last a long time as well actually, that is a really good prize. We have green and we have the black. You've got a saving of £3 here. So all 4 colours, are you ready? I think it's brilliant. I think they're an incredible pen. So again, if I'm marking within a seam allowance, if I'm drawing out a pattern or drawing around a pattern, I'm thinking bag flaps, that's why I was doing that. If I'm drawing around a pattern, it really doesn't matter if it marks your fabric because you're within the seam allowance for most things. If you're drawing on top of your fabric, I wouldn't use these to mark a dart in a blouse or a dress, just in case the markings came through. I would use it to mark notches in seam allowances, or you know, whether you see the dots for the end of zips and things like that, absolutely, definitely. And again, it irons away. Other pens can become permanent when ironed. This just irons away completely. Always, always, always do your patch test first though. Morning Morag and Pauline again, and Annette. Oh, morning Dawn. Is Morag still on call? Morag's always on call. We'd love it when Morag's watching because that means there aren't any issues. So we like it. We like you being out of work, Morag, basically. We like you at home. We've had a good morning from Kenya. Who was that in Kenya? Oh, we've got regulars all over the place, you know. We're quite international. From Latvia. Wow. Okay, so this is our early bird. Basically, it is a special prize, and we keep these at this price while we have the stock, or throughout the course of the rest of the day. So you're saving £3, which is almost your postage. They're normally about £3.99. I'd pay that. I do pay that quite happily. The 4 colours mean that most of the prints and colours of fabric that you are going to be working with, this is going to stand out against them. And remember, it's for paper, and you can use them on fabric as well. They're brilliant pens. Any kind of fabric as well. You know, lightweight fabrics, if it's chiffons, if it's georgettes, all the way through to canvases and denims. Be careful on your faux leathers. You can mark, but you can't iron. But if it's the heat, not necessarily the iron, that takes these away, so you can give them a blast of steam, and the heat from the steam will also take the ink away. So if you're cross-hatching, if you need to sew in a straight line, if you're hand embroidering, if you're stitching over the pen mark, I wouldn't worry. I wouldn't have any concern about using those on fabric whatsoever. Don't use them when you're smocking though, because the heat from your hands as it goes through your hands will make the ink disappear, and then you're stuck, aren't you? Yeah, I found that one out. So let's take a look at what's coming up for the rest of the morning this morning. So, okay, the flower of the month is already busy, and so that's the marigold, which is coming up next at 9 o'clock. It's the we've got embroidery, and we've got pre-printed embroidery designs for you as well, which are exclusive to Sewing Street, and they are really rather lovely. So that's at 10 o'clock with. 9 o'clock with Katherine. At 10 o'clock we've got Crafty products with Noel. So first time Noel's been here. And 11 o'clock the Christmas wreath placemat with coasters. And at 12, that's with Katherine again. And then at 12 o'clock we have a repeat of yesterday's exclusively Sewing Street. So that's what's coming up the rest of the the day today. Morag says, that's what service users and I used to say, no offence, but I don't want to see you again. Still on call. Last one was at 4:45 this morning. Oh, I was on my way here then. Morning, Janice. Morning, Jane. I'm very good, thank you, Jill. Lovely. So I'm on Facebook if you want to get in touch. That's going to go cold, isn't it? Always happens. Our brand new flower of the month. Have you been collecting them? What are you making? I'm going to do another bag this morning. The idea is that with these flowers of the months, we're going to put together 12. I think you're going to get a bit more than 12 because we put a couple of bonus Christmas ones in. But if you collect all of them, you're going to have a really lovely, huge quilt. But if you wanted to order a couple of them, you can make your matching cushion covers as well. The square in the centre here is 12 inches. And then at the side, you've got all of these 2.5 inch strips that you can use as you will. So you could cut them into strips. You could use it just as stripy fabric. They're all printed as well, which I think is quite nice. So they're not just plain strips. And the print matches, the print on the strips matches the print on the flowers because the flower isn't absolutely plain. So the strips are, whoops, nearly dropped it, 2.5 inches by 43 inches in length. And then that's 12 inches square for only £9.99. Really busy for this one. The flowers of the month are always really, really busy. Is this your flower? Is that your birthday this month? It was my daughter's birthday on Saturday, and her best friend actually bought her a little, you know, like a necklace with marigold petals in it, like in resin. It's beautiful. So, oh, Hels from Cardiff said, hope you enjoyed Kim's birthday. It was lovely actually. It was very quiet, but it was really nice. It's a pity we couldn't go out, but you know, that's the way things are at the moment, isn't it? But yeah, it was really lovely. Thank you. We had a very nice time, and she was spoilt rotten. And we did get through a few bottles of champagne, I have to say. Yeah, which is why I didn't come in yesterday. Not because I was hungover, okay, because it takes an awful lot these days for that to happen. But I normally get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't want to do that on a Sunday morning. Not this week. I'll be in next Sunday. That'll be my regular day from next Sunday, I think. Morning, Tammy. Morning, Patricia. Morning, Alison. Morning, Janice. Morning, Delilah. Wet and windy in Liverpool. Wasn't too bad when I left home this morning. I hope it's not going to be miserable. We've had a very rainy weekend. I don't know about you. So that's your flower of the month. And so I think we might make a bag. Now we have got your strips, but Cat Producer has put together complementary fabrics for you as well. So basically she went through all of our stash, which is rather large, and put together all of the yellows, all of the oranges, and a green in there as well. And in fact, you've done a really good job there, Kat. These match perfect. I didn't mean to sound surprised. I'm just complimenting. But she did a really good job. So we've got the green to match the green. And then we've got look at the browns. Got the browns to match the browns, and the rust to match, well, it doesn't really match, but it goes, doesn't it? The dark colours in here, and the oranges, and all of the colours of the yellows. That's a huge bundle, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and all individual as well. So you can go for the whole lot, they all match, but we're doing these by the ½ metre. So if you know, I only want one, so what are you going to go for? Well, the white, is it off-white? I think that would make a really crisp kind of look. So I'm imagining maybe a wide border of the white, and then using some of your fabric strips here to make a huge cushion cover. And ½ metre is going to be plenty. If you're putting a backing on a cushion cover or lining a bag, ½ metre is going to be plenty. So that is your ivory, £3.49. Or what about a lovely buttermilky kind of colour? This is lemon, and I think particularly with the with the fabric print. So it's like a linen print. So that's exactly what she was thinking. So that matches with that. So I'd maybe do a border and then this one. Or again, a lining would look really good. And then we go bright. So this is a little bit of sunshine. That is gorgeous, isn't it? Isn't yellow a happy colour? It's happy and it's uplifting and it's the colour of sunshine. It's something that's puts a smile on our face. Now this one. Oh no, the next one. Now this one. Again, bright, but a little bit more gold. And this is the gold. All by the ½ metre. Remember, ½ metre goes a long way. Sharon says there's nothing better to do on a wet day other than sewing. Lovely. British had good weather yesterday. It's a spring day in Queensland. Or Kerry's watching on her way to work. Donna's in a wet and windy North Devon. A spring day, lovely spring. It's quite, I don't know, it's quite springy here actually, because we're used to rain, aren't we, in springtime. And it's not too cold actually. That's a lovely, now that is perfect. If you're looking for the yellows to match with your marigold, that is the one that I would go for. That is an absolutely perfect match. Again at £3.49. But do you want to go bold? Do you want to go bold? Bright orange. That will really make your marigold stand out, won't it? That's gorgeous. And then these, we've got two that are quite similar. So this one is paprika. Brand new for you today. And then this one is hot tomato. So the hot tomato is slightly warmer. Actually, I think the hot tomato goes better. Personally, yep. Then we have, look at this one, a completely different look. So if you imagine you're going to make borders out of the hot tomato, but then look at the difference it makes to the image when you use brown. So this one's a brunette, so you can see that is nice and bright and loud. This one is very autumnal and soft and rich. Again, that's £3.49. You don't have to buy them to go with the flower of the month. If you just love these colours, then you go for it. And then finally, we have the emerald, which picks up on the green of the stalk and again gives a very different look. So that's what your border is going to look like if that's what you're using them for. Morning, Elliot. And then there is your, I like that. My two, I'd go that one, so the brunette, or that one. Or both, oh no, both of those. So ½ metre of each of those is going to make your flower of the month just go such a lot. Actually, the green looks really nice in there as well, doesn't it? Okay, if you're on a budget, limit yourself to 3, okay? And those would be the 3. You buy the lot if you like, but I don't want to spend too much of your money. Okay, so that's those. There we go. Should we have a look at the other flowers of the month while we're here? Or should we do a bit of sewing? What do you think? Should we do a bit of sewing? All right. So let's drink a bit of coffee. Let's see what else is here. We're very relaxed on a Monday morning. Excuse me. Morning, Sharon. Oh, no, read that one. Mandy, morning. Hope you had a lovely day with Kim. Yeah, we did. Thank you very much. She's off work to get a fix today, a Sewing Street fix. Have you taken a day off deliberate to watch Sewing Street? That's a bit extravagant, isn't it? Morning, Bernadette. The yellow's lovely. Yeah, mid-morning in Daventry, Northants. Well, it was 5 a.m. this morning when I was walking the dog. You're walking the dog in the dark. I don't think Bob and I go out in the dark. Ellen's just ordered the flower of the month. Want to see pictures when you finished it, Ellen. And morning, Margaret. She's busy with a Christmas mate. We've got more Christmas mates coming up at 11 o'clock. Love to see what you're making with your flowers of the month. Or what's special about October for you? Kat's mum's birthday in October. My daughter's birthday was Saturday. What else is coming up in October? Don't really like Halloween, to be honest. I don't see see the point of Halloween. And actually Halloween's not too bad because at least there's a story there. I don't get bonfire night. Don't like it. Don't like fireworks, think they're too dangerous, don't know why we're allowed to have them. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox and do a bit of sewing. I'm going to cut around the edge of the flower, but I'm going to give myself a 1/4 inch seam allowance because I don't want to sew into the border. So I can stitch right up to it and then I make the very most of that border then. So just 1/4 inch. Rulers, cutting mats, rotary cutters, all of that malarkey on the website if you need them. Just whiz that off there. So I think the bag was the first thing I made with the flower of the month. So it's been a while. I thought we'd revisit because I'm running out of ideas really. Actually the last one, Hannah producer came up with the idea of a block saver, did she call it? Like a book with wadding pages, which I thought was a really nice idea. Apparently it's a thing, I've never heard of that before. All right, so that's that. And then I think we'll have a bit of a border around it as well, but I'll use the panel. Because there's plenty here to do it. Should we have a border? Or should we just use that as the back? I think I'll just use that as the back. So I'm going to cut out another piece to the same size. You could cut them all out in strips, but it's quite time consuming, which is fine. I don't mind things taking time. But they're already kind of pieced together in a rather attractive manner. So I think if I put some fusible fleece on the back of there and then just stitch along the edges, it'll look like I've pieced them together anyway. So then I don't have to worry about sewing in a straight line. Lovely new blade in this rotary cut, I have to say. So that's just cut to the same size. I'll use a different fabric on the lining because you're not going to see that so much. So these can be straps. So we'll have one of these straps. So I'm just cut all the way along there. So much easier with a rotary cutter if you haven't tried one yet. You've got lots of straight lines like this, it's invaluable. A lot easier than scissors. Let's cut that down there. And should we do two? Oh, well, why are we doing that? Maybe we could have a stripe down the middle. Is that 2.5? I don't get on with these rulers with 1/2 inches on, to be honest. We'll do that. Actually, that one would be better. You see, there's so many different prints to choose from. I think the darker ones would look better as a handle. So I'm going to cut these right out of the middle. And I think I'll just sew them into tubes. Paul Director is sowing seeds and scattering, I think. Says this reminds him of harvest. I have to say, harvest in the village over the last few weeks, I've never seen so many tractors. We have more tractors than we do cars at the moment. There we go. And oh, Paul's directing. Paul likes a joke. He said a guy in a tractor was shouting him at the other day, telling him that the world was going to end. He thought it was Farmageddon. I apologise in advance. It's probably going to happen a lot throughout the course of the morning. Okay, so I've got the front, I've got the back. And because that's a square, I could have it that way, or I could have it that way. But I think I'm going to have it that way. And then I've got two different coloured handles. These are going to be quite long, which is fabulous. You could make it even bigger, just by adding more and more, I wouldn't do that one, adding more and more borders, because you don't want two the same next to each other, do you? So I could make that really big, and then I need some more fabric for the back and the lining. I'm going to use, let's go for that one, for the lining. I don't know if I'm supposed to, I might get a bill. So this one is ZELJ2. Is that all right? Can I use it? Yeah, she said okay. Don't know why I'm whispering. And I need to cut 2 pieces to the same size as that. So I'm not using all of it, just using a bit of it. Very nice gift bags actually, wouldn't they? Oh, that would, oh yes, if you've got a birthday, it'll have to be later on in October by the time we get these to you. You'll have them quite soon, but I'm thinking get these to you and then you make something up. That would make a really appropriate gift bag for somebody whose birthday is in October. And in fact, that's the same for all of the months. They're all flower of the months, which are proper flower of the month. So no matter what month it is, you'll be able to make an appropriate gift bag for them. Right, so I'm going to put some fleece on the back of this one. So we'll take that one down. And I brought the iron, but I didn't bring my mat over. So. But I've got some H640. We've got a new ironing mat. It's clean. Not for long though. Right, so hi Sylvie. Oh, it's Julie's birthday next Saturday. Happy birthday for next Saturday in advance. She's going to order the flower of the month. Thanks, Kat. Sandra's brought lots of material and I've got lots of ideas, but no confidence to cut beautiful fabric. Buy 2 lots. You've always got one that you don't need to cut then. Sunny in Kent says Tony. Wendy says, how do you know when you need a new cutting board? I've just replaced my biggest cutting board actually because it got bent. I stood it up on end, which wasn't very good. I think a cutting board is going to last you for years and years and years. And the only time you need to replace it if you just wear it out so you can't see the markings accurate under. If it warps, so if you leave it in heat or if you stand it on end, which isn't a good idea for your cutting mats, because you can clean them. Most cutting mats are self-healing, so you can give them a good old rub with a baby wipe or a wet wipe and clean them up, so they should last you a long time. Hi Sylvie. Oh, her granddaughter Kirsty's 16 tomorrow. Happy birthday to Kirsty for tomorrow. A special birthday meal had to be cancelled. Yeah, ours was as well. And it's her daughter's birthday on Wednesday. Sylvie appreciates the joke. Don't appreciate that. You just get more of them. Morning Glenys. Morning Alison. Okay. So let's have this on here. So if you haven't used H640 before, it's a polyester fusible fleece, which means that the knobbly side is the glue, and you can use steam, which I have in this little iron, and I did overfill it a bit, so apologies for getting this wet. And the steam melts the glue and it bonds to the back of your fabric. Don't take the iron onto the glue bits. So what I would do would be to cut that out and then iron right up to the edges. So I need to do the back as well, which we're going to do that way. It'll give your bag a little bit of substance. It'll stand up on its own, but it's still quite soft. It's still a little bit floppy, so it's going to be really easy to sew through as well. Lorraine's sewing her Christmas presents. Morning, Lorraine. What are you sewing? What are you making for Christmas? You're having a handmade Christmas this year. What are you hand making? I'm doing my own packaging this year, I think. Okay, that's that. So we'll cut that out. I'll use scissors for this one. You can use your rotary cutter with this. Rotary cutters and wadding tend to push the wadding into your mat, and that's a clean-up job, which is fine, you know, it just means you've got an extra job to do afterwards. But with this being a polyester, it doesn't actually go into your mat, so you can cut it with a rotary cutter without having to pick all the bits of fluff out of your mat afterwards. So that's that. Oh, what's she doing? Who's that? Sorry, Dawn. Dawn's making advent stockings. That's a nice idea. I like the idea of making things that you can use year after year like that as well. It's things that are always going to be around. So I'm just going to iron right up to the edge there now. Pauline needs some ideas. If anyone's got any ideas as to what to... She wants to make something to go with some nice mugs. Oh no, sorry, I skipped on a little bit there. No, Pauline's not making something to go with mugs, that's Lorraine. Pauline says it's her daughter's birthday coming up on the 14th, thinking about what I can make her to add in with her prezi. So if you've got any ideas, you can reply on Facebook and let's come up with some ideas for Pauline. Morning, Jean. Lorraine says mug rugs to go with some nice mugs that she's been purchasing over the year. That's a nice idea. Mug rugs and mug hugs. We're thinking now, look. Oh, Kat says, how about a fabric floral arrangement so you can give her a bouquet of flowers and it's something that she can keep. That's a nice idea. Pauline's got 5 hoodies to make for Christmas presents. Need to see pictures of that one. Are you using a pattern or are you making your own up? Okay, that's that. View there. I'm going to sew around here. So, oh, that's hot. So it looks like it's quilted. And I'm going to sew across each one of these to make it look like it's quilted as well. So, ooh, I thought that was a tight fit. So I've got a little 550 on those are the straps. I'm not putting fleece on the straps. We don't have this one available at the moment, but the 680 plus is in the green room with Katherine at the moment. Right, so we have, what colour should we use? We can use something that's really contrasting, or we can use something that, what we got in there? We'll use a beige. Something quite neutral. Got a knot in the end of there, bear with me. Oh, Pauline likes cat cider. Cat cider, thank you. Right, there we go. Needle threader, down across, and up. No, we don't. Yes, we do. And that in the bottom. Oh, Joan's watching from work this morning. Morning, Joan. Oh, this needs a clean. Oh, it's her birthday and her 45th wedding anniversary. Congratulations. 45. Oh, Eileen says she loves watching me create without a pattern. Doesn't always work, Eileen, but you know. So, oh, I pulled the plug out now. No. See, this is why we need to sit down and sew. There. Well, apparently Neil is presenting tomorrow, our managing director, and he's put on Facebook that he has something which is, how did he word it, more special than a discount code. So maybe we've got some new furniture. That would be more special than a discount. He hasn't told anybody what it is. Nobody knows. No. Cat producing, Paul directing, no idea what. It'd be nice to know, but it's going to be a surprise for everybody, I think. So I've lengthened the stitch. Because this isn't a seam, it's only a decorative affair. But sewing through the fleece at the same time. Actually, what would be nice with a bit of quilting like this would be that polyester that we do, you know, the polywadding, because it's quite thick, it's about 1/2 inch in thickness, so you get a really nice depth of stitchery going on there. What else have we got? I love this Facebook Live business. Oh, that's a lot of kisses. Laurie says, morning, how was the birthday party at the weekend? It was lovely. It was quiet and very nice. Thank you for asking. I should pass your message on to her. Lorraine says she's making an unusual pin cushion to go with glass head pins. Would be a nice Christmas present. We need to see that one, don't we? Dawn says we're sewing for 9 hours yesterday. Yeah, machine definitely needs a clean out, I think. Yep, change the needle, give it a clean out, give it a rest, give it a bit of a waft, feed it grapes. So again, all I've done is just sewn down, but you can see it kind of, the stitches sinking in there, so it looks as though it's quilted. Have I missed anybody? I don't like to miss anybody. And you've taken the time and trouble. Alan says, how was the Sewing Street? How are we feeling today, Sewing Street team? Yeah, we're good. We're all good, thanks, Alan. Yeah, really good today. We're going all the way around the edge here as well. So just along that line, needle down, turn around. Oh, Margot sent a picture. Oh, she's made a gift and sent a picture in. Send us another quick email and just say that's okay to show, because we just don't want to put a picture of a gift on screen if it's going to be a surprise for somebody. So just let us know that that is to share, not for our own private enjoyment. Love to see your makes. Well, everybody has a different take on things, don't they? And I'd love to see what you're doing with all of these flowers of the month. Oh, Dawn's got 6 of them. She says her quilt is looking gorgeous. So how have you coped, Dawn, with the different colours? Because I think by the time, because they're all very different, there's greys and there's lilacs and there's red from the poppies, and I just think if you have just individual blocks of different colours, it may not come together very well. But if you have maybe the marigold with the red of the poppy around it, and then the poppy with the lilac of the lily of the valley around it, maybe that would tie the whole thing together. So, or have you just done them all individual? Come and let me know. I'm dying to know, I want to know. So yeah, pictures. Would be good. Almost around here. Morag, go stand in the corner. She's put the washing machine on this morning. She's broken the rules. Boris says 2 metre distance on a Saturday morning, a Sunday morning, and the occasional Monday morning from any household appliances. Just till 1 o'clock, that's all we ask. Better not tell Boris about that one. I'd be so disappointed in you, Morag. Oh, you can stand in the corner but still face the TV. How's that? Yeah, all right. Oh, and Margot says we can show her picture. Okay, we'll show it then. Here you go. Oh, that's lovely. She's made a Christmas tree and embellished it. It's a gift for a lovely daughter. That's Margot in St Helens. That is gorgeous. Can we see? Look, how big is that? Is that big? Or is it a little one? It's a little one, isn't it? It's on a tabletop. I used to make a lot of trees actually when I had time on my hands, when I was a proper presenter. And I made a tree like that in white oilcloth with big coloured spots all over it that looked like baubles. It was a nightmare. I made it for a friend of mine. I shan't offer to do that one again. At the time, I'm going back quite a few years, and I didn't know there were such things as Teflon feet. So I did it with just it took me ages, regular sewing machine. Yeah. And then I made a pink fluffy one for my friend Nigel and put little lights in it as well. But they were huge, big things, and I think it's still got it. Cold. Oh, I shouldn't be drinking coffee at work anyway, should we? Come on around that way. Julie says, how many hours do you sew a day, Debbie? Not necessarily all sewing, because I design patterns as well, and I write. So I start at around about 6 o'clock in the morning. Normally, I'm not a very good sleeper, so I tend to get up really early. And I'll have a break if it's not raining to walk the dog for an hour. If it's not raining because she's frightened of the rain. And then I'll carry on till maybe 7 o'clock at night, so probably about 12 hours a day. Pauline says it's lovely. Thank you. Our guild in Kenya has a birthday month flower quilt challenge. Ours are due on Friday. Oh, like I'd love to see pictures of that one. Morning, Debbie. Are you full of birthday cake? We had quite a lot of cake. It was lovely. It was a Victoria sponge with mermaid shells all over it. It was very nice and very sweet. How do you put on half a stone in 2 days is what I want to know. Literally half a stone. We ended up with an Indian takeaway because the Turkish that promised they would be open decided to shut. And I think I just set everything on the table. But half a stone in 2 days? Anyway, don't really care. This is going to be a rather long strap, and I was hesitating sewing this together into a tube because I don't think I've got anything to turn it the right side out with. We'll have a pen. Yeah, we had the wooden sticks from those turning tubes, but not the tubes, didn't we? Should learn my lesson, really. Bring me turning tubes in next time. Okay. Oh, they're right in front of me. Thank you very much, Kat. They get a lot of exercise here in the studio, particularly now we've got a big studio and no floor managers. Down we go. Right, so this is the second strap. I don't need the end sewn over. I'm only doing that because it makes it easier to turn the right side out. So we're going to... Oh, Dawn says if we could lose weight by sewing, we'd all be skinny. You're not wrong. Morning, Gabriel. She loves the panel. Right. So a bit sewing in a straight line isn't the most interesting thing, is it? There we go. So now we'll turn these the right side out. Maybe a while. Just chop the corner off there. Right, so you're going to go in there. There's lots of ways of doing this that is an awful lot easier than this. I don't know about you, I'll just get it all out. I'll sew that into a tube. When I could have put a ribbon in the end of it to make it a little bit easier and pull it through. Or a safety pin. In you go. Got 2 of these to do, so bear with me if we've got time. Oh, come on down there. You go. No. Oh dear. Just talk amongst yourselves for a while. Maybe we'll just have one strap on this. I've got 12 minutes apparently to do this. It may be a while. Maybe we'll just have one. So, if you're joining us for the first time this morning, we have been doing the Flower of the Month since May. So we've got a few there. I'm supposed to show you them all in a minute, but I may be doing this for a while. So if you have a look on the website on sewingstreet.com, you'll see all of the different flowers there. And if you are joining us for the first, there we go, for the first time this morning, you only pay 1 postage for the whole day. So if you've ordered your marigold already and you think, oh, I fancy some of the others to go with it, each time you place an order, we will add up all of your orders until just before midnight tonight, and then just ask for 1 postage for the whole lot. So order something, pay for it, and then I'll do 2 short handles, and then don't worry about adding extra things to your order. You know, even little things, it's ideal if you just need something like a pack of pins or needles, or something that's only going to cost you a couple of pounds, whereas it's not normally worth your time, or it's not normally worth the postage for smaller items like that. Once you've paid that 1 postage, you can come back and order as much stuff as you like, and no extra cost. Yeah, we've lost the tubes, Pauline. We've got the wooden sticks that go in the middle, so that's what we're using at the moment. Could bring my own in. We've only moved kind of a couple of miles from where we were before, but there's all kinds of stuff strewn at the side of the road, I think, from our move from the old studio to this one. No, I know, Jan. I need it. Oh, it's Pam. What you done? Oh, she's only just got up. That's fine if you were burning the candle at both ends last night. We've heard the reputation. That's, no, it's okay. Actually, oh, Bev sent an email in with a picture, but forgot to put the picture on there. Yeah, was it last Sunday I was in? Can't remember. Last time I was in. Everyone was in bed. I had so many emails from people that were watching in bed. At least we're all up this morning. I think we're all up this morning. Right. So I've done 2 little handles. That's fine. They're all right, aren't they? Not too small. So those are going to go facing downwards like that. I'll have a couple of pins in there. I'm just kind of placing those by eye so that they're equidistant from the sides. And then we'll do the same on the top here. And I'll use that to measure that. And that goes there. And that goes there. And I'm just going to sew within the seam allowance just across the ends, just to hold those in place so I can take the pins out and sit down. Because I've put the foot pedal up too high to stand now. So across one. And the next one. Now, because you've got so much fabric left as well, obviously you're going to have more time than an hour at home to make a bag up. You could be adding patch pockets, patch pocket on the back, but maybe quite nice, or a pocket with a flap on it in a contrasting colour, and maybe a popper or a magnetic snap to hold it down. And then we can put zip pockets on the inside as well, because it's big enough to do all that kind of thing. You could make... I wouldn't square the base off on this. You know, sometimes you can pinch the corners or cut the corner out because you're going to lose some of the border when you do that. So if I was going to make a gusset for the bag, I would cut separate pieces. So I'd have 2 side pieces and then the base piece, so that you've still got the whole of this for the front of the bag. You can make quite a deep bag out of it there if you wanted to. Sam wants tips for sewing around curves. Glenys, you're just getting up. No, you have a lazy day if you want a lazy day, it's fine. Sew slowly, use small stitches for sewing around curves, and don't watch the needle. Have a guide if it's either the edge of your foot or a point on your throat plate, and follow that and very slowly take your fabric around. It's practice, I think, more than anything with sewing around curves. Right, so now I'm going to sew the top of the lining to the top of each side of the bag. This is the quick bit now. It's coming together really, really quickly. And the same with the second bit. So just line those 2 edges up like this. And I'm just using the edge of the foot as a seam allowance, so I'm not worried about being an exact 1/4 of an inch or whatever. It's only a bag, it doesn't have to fit. That goes there. If you're going to put something heavy in here, you could go backwards and forwards over the handles to give that a little bit of reinforcement, make the seam stronger. Comes out there. Morning, Carol. And then we'll sew these 2 pieces together, so right sides together, matching the seams at the side, so that's where I like to start. I'm going to have the seams at the top facing upwards towards the lining, and I think that'll make a nice little border around the top. It's not going to affect the size of the lining. So let's go down here and just sew all the way around. So while we're doing that, sewing around curves, says Tammy. She sticks her tongue out of the side of the mouth, it helps with accuracy. I tend to stick my tongue out when I'm threading needles. I find it easier to thread a needle with my tongue out. I don't know why, just the way it is. I think it's a concentrating thing, isn't it? Tongue comes out. Oh, we've had some pictures. I'd love to see your pictures. Alan sent a picture. What have you been up to? Oh, that's gorgeous fabric, Alan. It's a picture of a laptop messenger bag with a shoulder strap. That is beautiful. And you've matched up the houses, the cottages. That's actually my cottage. That's the cottage like what I live in. Oh, and this is from Bev from Glenfield. She says, morning to all at Same Street. Morning. It's a cushion she's made from Sarah Harrison's Wildflower Meadow Lap. Oh, that's nice. Use some of the fabulous decorative stitches on my machine. Oh, it's nice, isn't it, Bev, to find a project that you can use your decorative stitches on. Lovely work. Keep pictures coming in. Oh, I'm going to lengthen that stitch a bit because we've got a bit of friction going on with this wadding. Just make sure my straps are out of the way and seams are matching-ish. Oh, we've got 5 minutes. Right, 5 minutes finish. Ooh, finish a bag. That went a bit wobbly. Let's speed up a bit here. Not a problem, we'll finish this easily. So needle down in the corner, turn around, leave a gap in the bottom so I can turn it the right side out. So we'll leave that gap about here, go backwards, reinforce the stitches, lift the footer, snip across, go backwards and then into the corner. Hope you're following this. Into the corner here, needle down, turn around, back down the find. No, don't you hate it when that happens? I've got another one, fine. It's brown, but we don't care. Don't have to go back too far. We'll still finish it by the end of the hour. So, back across the bottom. Stop there, go back, needle up. There's my turning gap. Back down again. Quick back stitch. 4 minutes to go. And there we go. Right, who else is here? Hazel James says, what's the order number for the bag lining? Oh, hang on a minute. Bag lining is ZELJ82. Hope that helps, Hazel. Hope you got that. So then we're going to do that, and we'll do that. And I'm not snipping across the corners because I want to finish. So let's pull this the right side out like that. And that goes there. Hi, Chris. Do you have any tips for getting an exact 1/4 of an inch on the sewing machine, please? You may have a 1/4 of an inch stitch position on your sewing machine. You can buy a 1/4 of an inch foot to go with your sewing machine, which works. Otherwise, I would put my ruler underneath the needle of the sewing machine at the 1/4 of an inch mark and make a mark on my machine, on the side of the machine to thread it through. And maybe if it's your machine, I've done mine in a Sharpie. But if you don't want to mark your machine, then you can put a strip of masking tape at the side of it. There you go, it needs a press. I would top stitch around the top to hold the lining in place, but that's done. Which stitch is stronger to end something, reverse or lock? Reverse, Pauline, I would say. Jenny says, morning, loving the show. Thank you very much. I've got loads of time left now. Don't really know what to do now. So you could store the rest of your flowers of the month in there. Should have a quick flick through. Have a look on the website for item numbers, okay? We'll do our best. So, marigold this month. And then we have, oh gosh, this is the Aster, wasn't it? Which is, that's September's, which is the Aster. So that's that one. You can see they're all different colours, but they're all the same size, so they'll go together really nicely. So that again, £9.99, you're getting all those strips included. So that's Aster. And then TWW28 is Poppy. So that one is your August. So we're going backwards through the year now, aren't we? There's Poppy. And then next up we've got JEW56, which is this one. And this is July, and it's a delphinium. And then we've got delphinium coming in on Wednesday, apparently. Delphine is in on Wednesday. We're going back to June, so we've got roses, and this one is OPW10. Again at £9.99. All 100% cotton, designed and printed in the UK and exclusive to Sewing Street. And then the first one we ever brought you is DRW61, which is my favourite one still out of all of them, which is the Lily of the Valley from May. So again, I know I went through those rather quickly, but do take a look on the website if you'd like to have a perusal and have a little bit more of a shop around. And they've all got matching fabrics available there as well. Hi Louise from Dublin, loves the marigold, she's going to get it for the collection, lovely. Hi Nikki, hi Dawn again. Let's have a look at what's coming up in the next hour. So here's a little bit of a tease. We've got Katherine here, waiting in the wings, and she's going to be doing some hand embroidery with us. So if you want any hints and tips, if you've got a special stitch that what's your favourite? What would you like to do with hand embroidery? Again, if you've got any pictures that you want to share with us of your embroidery. Got a bit of folding to do here, haven't I? While I'm just doing this, we're waiting for Katherine. We'll have a quick break. I might just get a coffee that's not gone cold and let that one go cold as well, because that's what happens. So go and get a coffee yourself if you like, and we'll see you again in a couple of minutes.
If you'd like to get in touch with us during our live show and send in any messages or any questions, then you can do it on studio@sewingstreet.com. Alternatively, you can message us on our official Facebook page. Shopping with us couldn't be easier. If you want to shop online, then you can head to our website, www.sewingstreet.com. It will redirect you to our sister channel Jewellery Makers landing page. Don't worry, you haven't gone to the wrong place. We're simply using their website temporarily while we're building our own web shop. Scroll down past the Watch Live part and you'll see all of the products that you will have seen on air on today's live show. You can also shop our catalogue by clicking a category, clicking a product to view closer, and adding it to your basket. Once you're ready to check out, you will need to create an account, which is absolutely free to do so, but it will mean that you can check out on as many orders as you want throughout the day with still only paying one postage and packaging. If you'd prefer to speak to somebody in our UK-based customer service team, then you can do so via the free telephone line number 0800 001 4433. They will not only help you create an account, but will also help you with any of your online shopping.
Hi, I'm Debbie Shaw, and as a professional sewer, I really know how important it is to use a high quality thread. Well, you think about it. You spend a lot of money on your sewing machine, you'll spend a lot of money on fabric, and you'll spend a lot of time sewing. So why let your thread let you down? I know a lot of our designers and customers prefer to use Aurifil thread. Now, this is a family business. It was established in 1983 and they're based just outside Milan in Italy. They produce superior quality threads for domestic and professional sewers alike, and they've achieved worldwide success with quilters, sewers, embroiderers and textile artists who all appreciate the versatility and the strength of these threads. It's all made from Egyptian cotton, which is grown just at the side of the River Nile, and Aurifil only use the long staple threads, which gives their thread that strength. Each one of these threads goes through 15 steps before it even gets onto a spool and then comes to you to use in your sewing projects. Now at Sewing Street, we've collaborated with Aurifil and we've brought you two collections of threads. So we have the Quilters collection, and these are exclusive to Sewing Street. We've done a lot of research with quilters, and these are the colours that you prefer to use. So we put a whole collection together for you. The second collection is the Essential collection. So this is for the homemakers, for the bag makers, for the craft sewers, for the dressmakers. And again, these have been proven to be the most popular colours that you're going to use. So if you want your projects to last longer and your seams to be stronger, invest in some quality thread.
Did you know that if you shop with Sewing Street, you're only going to pay one lot of postage all day? That's one payment of £3.95, no matter what you're buying. And you can check out as many times as you like without having to pay another delivery charge. So shop online at www.sewingstreet.com, or you can order via our call centre, which is 0800 001 4433.
Hello, I'm Katherine Wright. I'm from Leicestershire Craft Centre, which is based in Market Harborough. I love all kinds of sewing, but probably my favourite thing to do is dressmaking. But I also teach patchwork and free motion embroidery and anything to do with textiles really. I love to have a go at felting and crochet and knitting and, oh, you name it, I'll have a go at it. So I started sewing when I was 7. My mum taught me to sew, and the very first thing I made was an apron. But I'm a terribly impatient person. I just want to get on with the project. So I didn't wait for her to help me cut it out, and I cut it out myself, and I didn't know you had to have a seam allowance. So I made the world's smallest apron, and my mum still has it somewhere. Sewing tips, I would say, I teach a lot of people to sew, especially beginners, and I would say don't get disheartened. Take your learning journey slowly. Don't expect to suddenly make a ball gown or suddenly make a king-size quilt. Build up your skills, you know, slowly. And I would also say the iron is your friend. Use your iron a lot. It makes your sewing look so much better. It helps you get things in place where you want it before you sew, and is a really handy thing to have.
Welcome back again. Oh, now then, Wendy's been making bridesmaids' dresses for her own wedding. Oh, we need to see pictures of that one. Anyway, Katherine is with us. We're going to be doing a little bit of hand embroidery, and we've got these huge panels for you to embroider over. But this is like embroidering by numbers because the design's already printed on here, so all you need to do is get sewing with it. They're designed to go into hoops. You can hoop them up, or you can make them into cushion covers if you wanted to, or maybe bag fronts. But they're very detailed, but they're very simple, if you know what I mean. Now, they don't come with instructions, so you can use any kind of stitching that you like, but Katherine's got some nice hints and tips for you as well. So there's the large panel here which says beautiful things come together one stitch at a time, and then so on and so forth down at the bottom here. And then we've got sewing is therapy over on this side as well. But they're just really nice, simple designs. Oh, look at this magic. So that's a finished design. Of course, you can use whatever colours that you want to, whatever types of embroidery threads you want to. And I think it's one of those really relaxing, satisfying hobbies, isn't it? See? I bet you could applique that as well. We'll have a word with Katherine in just a second. So this is the first one, which is called Beautiful Things Come Together One Stitch at a Time. And these are exclusive to us as well. And then next up we have When I Make Things With My Hands, I Give My Heart, which is the type on the large one here. And then we have Make, Do and Mend, and excuse me, Stitch Your Stress Away. I thought when I first saw that it was Stitch Your Dress Away. That's a whole new show. And again, these are £9.99. And it's all just really lovely, 100% cotton. It's a nice weight, I think, to embroider with as well, because it's quite a loose weave, so your needle's going to pass through there nice and easily. So that's When I Make Things With My Hands, I Give My Heart. So those are the two new and exclusive panels that we have for you today. We also have, and I've got threads, we've got brights and pastels available for you. So this one is the brights, and you've got, I think it's 36 in here, isn't it? 36 skeins in total, and they're all different. So these are the kind of colours that you're going to use for, oh, I don't know, the flowers, your foliage, the letters, and you've got plenty in here to be able to embroider all of those panels for £9.99. That's for 36. That's amazing. And then we have the pastels, which is this one. And again, you've got 36 of those in total. And again, they're all different. So if I just tip that end up, you'll be able to see all of those different colours in there as well. You get an awful lot there, don't you, for your £9.99. So those are embroidery threads. Have a look on the website as well. We've got embroidery needles, hand embroidery needles. We've got hoops for you. We've got your embroidery scissors and all of the other accoutrements that you may need to go with your panels. So that's on sewingstreet.com, and that's how you can place your order as well. Okay, but I keep saying Katherine's here, so it's about time we met her. Morning, welcome back again.
Hello, hello.
You were saying earlier on actually that embroidery is like a TV hobby.
Yes, I like to have it on the go while you're sitting watching telly on the sofa. A little bit of embroidery going on. It's nice and relaxing. Nice relaxing thing to do. It's not noisy, is it? Obviously, you can't do sewing machines with the TV on because you can't hear it. So I like to have a Telecraft as well as my normal sewing. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. And it's nice to keep your hands busy even when you're watching TV.
Stops you snacking.
That's true.
And yeah, it stops me falling asleep actually. I have a tendency just to sort of drop asleep in the evening if I've not got something to do. Yes, but although my husband does complain a little bit because there's always small pieces of thread lying around everywhere, little bits of fabric on the floor, bits of thread on the sofa.
It's what makes your house your home when you sew.
I reckon. Okay, I'm going to show you how to, I was going to start the make, do and mend one today. I really enjoyed doing these actually. Although I had to do them fairly speedily, I perhaps didn't take the care that I might normally because I had to get them done to show everybody. They were really nice to do actually because they weren't too complicated, and yeah, you can just go a bit freestyle with them, which is quite nice. You can use whichever stitches you like. Now I'm popping this in the hoop. I tend to not personally use a hoop when I embroider at home. I like to get my hands in it and feel what I'm doing, but I think you will be able to see better what I do if I use the hoop here. And it's a matter of personal preference, isn't it? Absolutely.
But it's a nice way of displaying them, isn't it? And I'm imagining all three of them in an arrangement on the wall, maybe in your sewing room would be nice.
I think would be really lovely.
Yeah.
Really lovely. Right, let's have a look at this. So make, do and mend. So for the lettering, we can use an outline stitch, which is a bit like a back stitch. There's lots of outlining stitches that you can use. So you can use a back stitch, you can use a stem stitch, and then you can use what's called outline stitch. Do you know why it's called that? Do you want a bit of historical fact?
Is it because it outlines things?
Well, it does outline things. It was used by the Royal Kensington Stitchers, and they called it outline stitch.
Oh, really?
Historically, that's where it came from.
Only the best stitches for us at Sewing Street.
Yes. So, but it's a little bit neater, I think, than a back stitch. Sometimes a back stitch can look a little wobbly, can't it, as an outline? Whereas outline stitch is, if you do it really nicely, is really neat. No pressure. So you bringing your thread up from the underneath. Now, there's different ways of starting off, aren't there? For speed and television, and often because I am just a little bit lazy, I've just done a simple knot. But you can leave a longer thread like that and just weave it in, or you can do what's called a waist away knot. So you actually go down from the top and then leave your knot on the top, bring it up where you want to and start sewing, and then weave that in at the end. But I cheat, I just do a normal knot. Okay, so you're just going to do a normal little running stitch, and when you come back up, you're going to come through a very, very small portion of the stitch, so that it creates a continuous line.
So it's a bit like a back stitch, but you're overlapping it.
A little bit of overlapping, a little bit almost of splitting your stitch a little bit as you come back up.
And how many strands of thread are you using?
I've got 3 strands. I did use 3 strands on virtually all of the pieces that I had a go at, except on, I'm getting tangled up, except on the sewing machine there where I used all, I thought, I want it to stand out a bit. So I used the full thickness, but I actually don't think it looks quite as neat as when you use the 3.
Right.
So on all the rest, I did split it and use 3. But you can go, if you want to do a very fine outline, you can go down to 1 strand. That's quite nice. It depends how precise you're feeling, I think.
It's nice to choose your own colours as well, isn't it? In fact, it's nice to choose your own stitches, as opposed to actually following a pattern where you're instructed to do, whatever stitches.
I like that. I like to be able to get a little bit more creative with it. And I've laid them out, the nice colours, in a little rainbow, because I just think they're so nice and you've got such a fantastic choice. So I've got all my bright ones there, I've got all the pastel ones just there to choose from. And that was half the fun actually, choosing the colours and which ones to put together. So we'll do a little bit of this letter and then we'll go on to...
I go through phases, I don't know about you. If I think I'll do a little bit of embroidery, I don't stop. So it's going to be embroidery for the next few days. And when I kind of came back to embroidery, if you will, because I used to embroider when I was younger. You know, I don't know if your mum and your grandma, if they used to sew, they may have sat and made those fire shields. I don't know what they're called, but I've got one of those that my grandma made. And just sit and embroider tablecloths and things like that. And it was really intricate. And it took me straight back to sit there watching my mum embroider. And you don't forget the stitches that you use.
No.
And it's lovely to create different textures with different stitches and really have a play with it.
I really like hand embroidery. I think it's really restful. And there's just something pleasing about just slowing everything down and just, taking your time with it. I'm not always the neatest sewer. I am a little bit of a slapdash person, it has to be said. I'm always a bit impatient to get a project done. But embroidery, I like it because it actually does make me slow down and take my time, which is a good thing. On this slightly thicker bit of the letter, I'm going to do a little bit of satin stitch, which is a filling in stitch. Oh, look, Debbie, my cotton's decided to crinkle and knot. So this is just a long stitch that comes really close together to the one before so that you're filling in the space. It's really nice for doing things like leaves, actually, and bigger bits. And it will look the same, you can't really see because I haven't done very much yet and it's quite small, but it will look the same on the back as the front, a satin stitch. You go right across the back. So it does use quite a bit of thread, but it looks very nice. And you get a little bit of texture with it. It raises your stitch up a little bit as well, which is nice. So. There we go.
Maybe a bit of beeswax would stop twisting, wouldn't it? We haven't got any, but yeah.
Yes, possibly. It's when it's because you've split your threads, which kind of untwizzles them, and then they want to twiddle back up again, don't they? So you do get that. I'm going to finish the M, and then we'll have a go at. I'm going to show you, and I did it around the edge of this one here, a twisted a whipped back stitch. I'm getting muddled up because that's a really nice decorative stitch to do, and one of those stitches that just looks more complicated than it is. I do find with hand embroidery, although there are hundreds and hundreds of stitches, you actually only use a very small quantity.
Yeah.
So, you know, back stitch and a French knot and a chain stitch and a satin stitch. That's probably about it, your main stitches, aren't they? So you don't need to be, you know, an absolute connoisseur of loads and loads of embroidery stitches to be able to do it and to get really nice results. If you know some basic ones, then you're away. And certainly these panels, you don't need to know anything very complicated. They're quite nice as a way, I think, of getting back into embroidery if you haven't done it for a long time, because you've got the different sizes. You're not maybe embarking on something really massive that's going to take you forever. You know, you could get these little ones done in an evening or two, I reckon. And
it's nice that the panels are already printed as well, so you don't have to transfer designs, or they're already there, you just embroider over them. And they're permanent, aren't they? These don't wash out or iron away or anything, but they're quite pale. So they're not going to...
Your stitches can cover them really quite easily. You can see on the M there, you can't see any of the grey underneath. Now I've stitched over it.
We disappeared off Facebook for a bit.
Oh.
We are back again now, because I looked at my phone to see if you were there, and I'd got a boxer for some reason. Don't know why. But Sheena's found us again. Sorry about that, Sheena. She says, please could you show which sayings are on which panel, as there aren't any there's no photos on the website, apparently. Okay, well, we've got some pictures for you, so we can take you through the images there. So the one that Catherine's working on here is this one, which is when you make things with my hand. When I make things with my hands, I give with my heart. So that's the bigger one.
And then it's got the smaller is the make, do and mend on the same panel.
Oh,
I'm just looking where they
I've got
were.
them
Where they
right in
are.
front.
They were there.
I could have looked myself, couldn't I? So it was this one, wasn't it? So that one is the Stitch Your Stress Away. So the main one here is the one that's on your titles up there. Look, so when I make things with my hands, I give with my heart. This one is Stitch Your Stress Away, and the other one Katherine is actually using.
So it's make, do, make,
That's
do,
the
and
Make,
mend.
Do and Mend one. And then the second panel, this is Beautiful Things Come Together one stitch at a time. So that's the big one. And then the smaller ones are Sewing is Therapy, and the very small one is So On and So Forth. So that's the big one, and that's what it's going to look like. And then Sewing is Therapy is the next one down, and the little one there is So On and So Forth. So I hope that helps.
They're all quite nice sayings, actually.
They are, aren't
they?
they?
I wouldn't
Yeah.
mind. Yeah, any of them. Any of them are good, I think. Right. So let's do a whipped back stitch on this one then. So I've come up on the edge of the little outline. Quite liked this, that you got a little little outline, little border that you could do. So we're just going to go around with a normal back stitch. I'm not going to make it too tiny, else you really won't be able to see what I'm doing at all. So with a back stitch, you literally go backwards and then you come back up forwards the same distance. So your thread should be in the centre each time.
So you're going to go all the way around like that first?
So I'm going to go around like that first. I might go halfway so you don't get bored watching me, and then whip it. I'm going to tell you something interesting about hand stitching. So my very first job that I did after I left university, it wasn't really a job. You'd probably call it an internship these days. It was basically unpaid labour. But I worked at Wordsworth's Cottage up in the Lake District.
Right.
And one of my tasks there in the museum was to catalogue the textiles. So I have handled Wordsworth's trousers. And, you know, obviously back then they were all hand stitched by his sister Dorothy. Tiny, fantastic. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, really exciting to see that kind of thing, and especially when it's so old. But yeah, absolutely beautiful tiny stitching and beautiful fabrics.
So what style would that have been?
So they were like breeches and, you know, waistcoats. So we're thinking, so that was the Romantic period, so sort of pre-Victorian. Yeah. So.
And of course no zips.
No zips, no buttons and
no Velcro.
Laces, that kind of thing. Yes.
We've got it easy these days, haven't we?
We have. Yeah, no sewing machines. All have been done by hand, wouldn't it? And candlelight.
And the thing is,
yet they were so fantastically neat and lovely.
Would last a lifetime, literally. You know, it wasn't like nipping into Primark or New Look or Topshop or something and buying fashionable clothes that you can, you know, you dispose of and buy another one next month. These were clothes that were meant to last a lifetime.
Well, and I mean, I know, well, when I worked there, it's a little while ago now, but I mean, yes, they were being looked after and well preserved, but they were in pristine condition.
Yeah. Well, everything would have been hand washed and drip dried, because, you know, no tumble dryer heat or anything, or no boiling water even, I would imagine, to destroy any of the fibres. And I think in those days as well, things were upcycled.
Yes.
So when you'd outgrown something or things started to wear out, you'd actually reuse that fabric to make something else with, because they were quite thrifty with the fabrics, weren't they?
Yeah, but I find it very interesting, all the history of and how we've got where we are today.
Yeah.
Where really, I mean, obviously back then it was all done out of necessity, whereas today we're fortunate enough that we can do it for fun, can't
we? Yeah.
which is good.
Maureen sent a picture in of the embroidery that
that's
she's
nice.
been making. This is gorgeous. Look at that. From the beginning of lockdown.
Are they like tassels on the thistles?
What a lovely idea is
Great,
that?
aren't they? Oh, I like that.
They're striking, aren't they? I like unfussy kind of designs like that. So you can, well, there's a lot of detail in there, but you can actually see all of them.
Do you know what? Okay, lockdown's not been the greatest, but it has been great for people's creativity, hasn't it?
Yeah.
You know,
I think a lot of people are trying something new, aren't they?
Yeah, which
well,
is
you must
brilliant.
find that all the time with the craft centre.
We've had a lot of people, keen, had a go at sewing in lockdown, and keen to learn more and do more, and that's just fantastic. Patchwork, found a lot of people got into patchwork.
Really?
Quite a few people have brought in hand-pieced patchwork where they've sat and done all the hexagons at home in lockdown, and now they're like, oh, how do we put it together in the quilt? So I've had a few of those in people.
Because if you went to where Katherine runs the Leicestershire Craft Centre, don't you? So you have
I do.
so many different genres of crafting. It's not just sewing.
Oh, no,
what was it you were
we
doing?
give everything a go, we do.
What were you doing last time you were in? You got something new? Was
it stained glass?
It was stained glass, yes.
Yeah, we like the stained glass. We're on silversmithing at the moment.
Oh, are you?
The silversmithing evening course has started. Oh, that's good too. I haven't found a craft I don't like yet, Debbie. I like them all, although I do like sewing best. Okay, so I imagine I've gone all the way around. You've got your back stitch, so you just come up with your next colour, and you're not going through the fabric, you are literally weaving your colour around each stitch in turn to whip it. So it's ever so easy, but it gives a very, very nice little chain effect. And I like how you can contrast the colours.
Because initially, when you first see it, it looks like you'd maybe embroidered with two strands of thread twisted together. It's not obvious that it's been sewn twice.
It looks like one stitch, doesn't it? And it looks quite complicated, but it's not. It's one of my favourite ones to use actually, because I just think it looks really nice. Red and white look good for Christmas because it looks like candy canes.
That's a nice idea.
Yeah. But you've got so many nice colours in these packs that it's like you've got to kind of get as many on here as possible, haven't you, to use them?
So it's the brights that you're using there, isn't it?
I'm using the brights, yes.
You've got 36 skeins there in total for your £9.99. You'll have a bit left over.
You'll have a lot left over. I think it's really good value actually. And the thing is, once you've had a go with these panels, you could make up your own as well, couldn't you? You know,
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So you could, I mean, this one, for example, it's lovely, but you could, if you wanted, add extra embroidery around. You could personalise it for somebody, couldn't you? Which would be really nice. You've got a friend with a sewing room.
Angela says it should add family names to it.
Yes.
That's a nice idea. Or if you're making this as a gift for somebody. It's quite nice that there's space around them all, isn't it? So they've obviously been designed to go in a hoop to display them, but it doesn't fill the whole hoop.
Yeah.
So you could put names around there, couldn't you? Use your Frixion pens.
I like the look. I need some of those. They look brilliant.
Have you not used them before?
No.
Oh, they're amazing.
When I was waiting outside and you were there, I'm like, oh, that's what I need.
It's like magic. These are the early bird today, so you've got a £3 saving on these as well.
Do you know what, Debbie? I left my phone at home. I sort of gone online and bought some.
I use these so much, but again, do test before. If it's going to be on the fabric that you see, so if you're embroidering, not so bad because you're going to stitch over the top of that. But these are something that I'd use to mark out patterns, to draw around patterns, and to mark into seam allowances as well. I wouldn't use it for something like a dot or where you're going to top stitch on your fabric, because they can kind of bleach the fabric a little bit.
Can you rub it out? Because I saw you rubbing it out on paper. Can you rub it out on the fabric?
Yeah.
So you see, if you're personalising your hoop, You can write your names on. If you haven't done it brilliantly, you can rub it out again.
Yep.
Oh, fantastic, love it.
But it's heat that takes it away. So you've got heat from the friction here because you've got an eraser on the end of it. But do be aware that if you're going to leave that in the window, the sunshine will take it away as well. And your fingers too.
There we go. I've gone along round that bit, and I think you can just about see.
It's really effective.
It's a really nice, effective stitch, isn't it, that one?
Yeah.
Yes. You can whip most stitches.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can do, just a running stitch. You can whip a chain stitch. There's all sorts of things you can whip.
I've never seen a whip chain stitch.
Yeah, you can.
That's a nice idea.
Yeah, so there's all sorts. So just weaving a different colour in and out of a stitch gives it some nice effects.
I want to get sewing now. Have we set you off at home? I just really fancy doing a little bit of embroidery.
Now these little sort of petals round on this one, I think we could do a little chain stitch on those. Would be quite nice, like a detached chain stitch. So let's bring our thread up from the back. So with your chain stitch, needle in and out to the size that you want, thread around and then just pull it through, and then we'll just go back down to hold that chain stitch in place. Thing with a chain stitch is to remember to keep your thread always on the same side before you wrap it round, otherwise you start to get twists in it. Which is a stitch in itself, it's a twisted chain stitch, but if you go, if you want to choose one and stick with it, else it will start to look a bit funny.
The thing with embroidery stitches, they're easy to undo as well, aren't they?
Absolutely, yes.
Metallic thread would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be nice as well for doing the sort of threading in and out whipping bit as well. Add a bit of sparkle. You can never go wrong with a bit of sparkle, can you? So we'll do a few more little chains on here, fill this one in.
Both of the panels been really busy, by the way, just to let you know, brand new this morning.
Good. They are really nice. I really did enjoy doing them actually. Yeah.
Like you said, it's relaxing, it's whittling away the time. There's no hurry to get it finished. If this is going to be a Christmas present, you've got plenty of time. They're not overly complicated, or I like the way that it's a lot of outlines, if you wanted it to be a lot of outlines. So you could do these in quite a short period of time if you're impatient.
I mean, this one, the Sewing is Therapy one, obviously, I was doing quite quickly, but you could use satin stitch and fill in colour on your sewing machine. That would be really nice to do actually. So you can really go to town with it as much as you want to.
Can't wait to see your pictures of these when you've finished yours. And they would make lovely gifts for anybody who sews, I think.
Absolutely.
And making it personal, adding names, or I'm just thinking what I put around the border. I think I'd do something quite symmetrical and structured. But I tell you what I do like is random just cross stitches, just like snowflakes just around the place.
Yeah.
Or use your chain stitch for a lazy daisy.
One of the patterns does have a little lazy daisy on it.
I noticed that's a little one, isn't it?
Yeah, one of the smaller ones. You can do a nice little lazy daisy on.
It's in the...
which uses the stitch that I'm doing now, the detached chain. Is it that one? So on and so forth.
Yeah. That's the Beautiful Things Come Together panel.
So.
Really pretty. So it's that one. So you could do your lazy daisy stitches, or you could satin stitch that, or you could outline them. Pretty though, aren't they? And they're very modern. Very kind of up to date, I think, these embroidery panels. It's a good idea, isn't it? And you
really
could
nice.
Potentially have 3 Christmas gifts there. And that's only £3.33 each.
Absolute bargain.
We've got different size hoops on the website as well. And in fact, if you're on the website, If you have a look underneath where the video is, there should be some there. The smaller sizes we don't have at the moment, but they will be back in stock very soon. And if you have a look on the website as well, we've still got those hoops that clip onto your desk, like so, with a table clamp. And we've got the one that you sit on as well. So we've got lots of different hoops for you.
I actually liked the big hoop. I say I'm not a massive fan of stitching with a hoop, but with a really big one, it kind of didn't get in the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did like the big hoop.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're a nice. The hoops are a nice way of displaying your work. But you could make little. I mean, that one that you're making now could be a pin cushion.
Oh,
Ashamed to stick
that
pins
would
in it,
be
that wouldn't it?
nice, wouldn't
Yeah.
it? Or you could make almost like a little needle case and put it on the front.
That
couldn't
would be
you?
nice.
Or, you know, the sewing rolls.
Yes.
Those kind, and
Yeah.
stitch them on the front as a little plique. You don't have to have it as a picture. Right, we'll do
See, the larger one I think would be big enough to make a nice cushion cover size when you
Ooh,
consider,
could.
you know, it's that far across. It's not about 16
So,
inches.
Well, this is one of the big ones, isn't it? This one.
yeah.
So you can see that is quite a good
Yeah.
size. And I mean I've put it in the hoop, but you have got the border bit, so you could make it.
You could make it even
You
bigger.
could make it bigger. It's quite big, really.
So I'm thinking round cushion with the seam obviously around the perimeter, and then maybe add some different coloured pom-pom trim around the edge. Would be nice, wouldn't it?
It would. Now
Pick up on the colours of your
broke off
embroidery.
there in the middle of my chain stitch, which meant it did not work. So let's undo that.
Oh, you've got to thread a needle again now.
Well, I have got quite a lot pre-threaded here. Because as you saw, I was having a slight trouble earlier threading my needles. I thought, wow, you don't really want to watch me thread needles for half an hour. Let's get some ready. A visit to the optician beckons, I think. I think I'm going to have to give in. Now, it hasn't got it on this particular design, but I'm going to show you how to do a French knot because they're great to do and people like them. And they're often a stitch that people find a bit tricky, actually. Okay. So they can go loopy if you're not careful.
Yes.
So it's just about tension. So we'll do a little French knot on here anyway. We'll embellish a bit. So come up to the top. You want to put your needle right close to where your thread is coming through the...
Could you move... There you go.
There we go, that's better, isn't it? Coming through the fabric. Wind round 2 or 3 times, depending how big you want your French knot to be. Then you're going to hold it really tightly, and this is the bit that makes the difference. You want a nice bit of tension as you slide your needle back and go back through close to where you first came up, and then your French knot will be lovely and neat and won't be loopy. I shall do one more. Sometimes they need a little bit of practice. They're nice for centres of lazy daisies, aren't they?
Yes, that's
a little
true.
French knot. So nice and close. Wind your thread round and then hold it tight. You can see I've swapped my needle back over into my other hand and then back down. There we go. Could do a nice little ring of French knots around the outside, couldn't I?
That would look nice.
Would look good.
They're useful as well. If you, I like soft toys with French knots for eyes, so that you just get 2 tiny little dots, which are a lot more secure than sewing buttons on as well, if that's something you were thinking of. But again, clustered together, even if you're making a flower that's got stamens, just on the ends of the stamens, looks nice.
So there we go, a few little French knots. This is quite a nice way. You can have a little play about with stitches, can't you? And
Yeah.
try different things. So, now again, when you finish off, I am just quickly tying a knot, but ideally you'd kind of weave your ends through, make it nice and neat.
Okay.
It would be in the past, wouldn't it? You'd have to have your stitching as neat on the back as on the front. Mine never is. I would have been.
See the back.
Well, I know, that's what I
Does it
think.
really matter?
That's what I think. You can't, if people are looking at the back, they're being overly picky. And they shouldn't be looking.
Well, on the back, I think I was given these as a gift. I may put a piece of card with some fabric stretch around it and glue that to the back of the frame so you don't see the back anyway, you don't see the stitches. Just make it neat.
Yes, that's a good idea. Right, let's do it there.
I might twist some
A little
embroidery
bit of
thread around the hoop as well.
Oh,
Or put some ribbon around it, just glue ribbon on it.
yeah,
That'd be quite nice.
that would look, jazz it up, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, make it extra fancy. So we've got a little flower here. We could do a stem stitch on that one, which again is just an outline stitch, but this time you come back halfway along. They're all variations on a theme. So your little straight stitch, you've come back up halfway next to it. So then you go again and you come back up halfway next to it. So you get a little bit of an overlap with your stem stitch. But again, it's an outlining stitch. So although there's quite a lot of outlining on the panels, you don't need to be bored. You can try all the different variations, and you'll see that they're all quite. They all have a slightly different effect and a slightly different texture, which is quite nice.
Have you ever tried ribbon embroidery?
I haven't actually.
I had a bit of a dabble and I bought a couple of books and I watched a few YouTube videos and then just never had time to actually get into it.
Is it quite
I love the
fiddly?
look.
It looks lovely.
It can be, but I love the way that with some of the petal shapes, like you were saying when you bring the needle up and split the thread, you split the ribbon and it kind of folds around. And if you use silk ribbon, you can actually paint it and the ink bleeds, so it gives a really lovely,
Oh, that sounds really
natural
nice.
look.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just having the time to do it at the moment. Just one day.
Always too many projects,
When I
not
retire.
enough time. Always.
Sue says it's rude to look at the back of embroidery or cross stitch. I'm with you on that one, Sue. It's rude.
Yeah. It's like someone, if you've made a dress, looking on the inside to see if you've got it neat.
Yeah.
Or if you stapled the hem up.
You've
I would never staple a hem up,
You've
don't
not
worry.
done that.
I have had ladies tell me that they have done that though.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then I've taught them to sew and they haven't done that anymore.
Linda sent a picture in. Hi, Linda. And this is the embroidery that she did when she was in Sunday school.
Wow.
57 years ago. Oh, wow.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
But don't they
That's
look
really
so
neat as
modern?
well.
That is very neat.
Yeah.
Gosh, the
Age
first one
7 or
was
8.
perfect. Wow. And the others were done by the time I was 7 or 8. 7, gosh, that's amazing for that age.
Well, Linda, you had a lot of patience. I'm not sure many children would sit and have the patience to do it these days. Although saying that, my littlest does like cross stitch and will sit and do cross stitch
Really?
for quite a long time, yeah. But it depends on the child. Because, yes, embroidery is a patient thing, I find, isn't it? You just got to go with the flow.
They're useful stitches as well, though, for mending rips in the knees of jeans. I've seen lots of different types of embroidery to kind of make it a focal point instead of trying to disguise the fact you've got a
I
hole
think
in
it's
your jeans.
become a little bit of a trend, hasn't it?
Yeah.
To actually make your mending look pretty rather than invisible, especially with we've seen is it borrow stitching, where you put little patches on.
Is that what it's called? I didn't know that.
The Japanese version, yeah, where you put
Okay.
little patches and you straight stitch across.
Yes.
Yeah. That's quite fashionable as well.
I've seen...
I'm a mine of useless knowledge, Debbie. Fairly useless facts about stuff.
Oh, I love a bit of nonsense, though, don't you? Just meaningless information. It's fascinating. I've seen a round hole where somebody made like a star shape over it and then wound the thread round so it looked like a spider web.
Wheel.
Yes, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
That
they're
looks
nice
quite
to
pretty.
do.
I used to darn socks when I was younger.
Did you?
Yeah, it was a chore. I hated doing that. But
No.
if you had a hole in your sock, you didn't throw them away, you mended them. We had like a wooden mushroom thing that you'd stick down the sock
Yes.
so that you could embroider over it.
My mum's was green. She's probably still got it somewhere. Now, I'll tell you what I used to darn. My point shoes, because I used to dance.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and you darn the ends of them to stop them wearing away too quickly. That's really hard on your fingers. Really hard, because obviously the end of a point shoe is rock solid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I used to darn.
Do you still dance?
No, not anymore. No, I've decided my girls do. I'll leave it to them, yes. They don't want their old mum dancing next to them.
I went to Taekwondo with my youngest son a few years ago because
Cool.
he didn't want to go on his own, so I thought I'll go with you then.
I bet that was quite fun, wasn't it?
I was the oldest one in the group, which is a bit embarrassing, but yeah, we had a great time. It was very choreographed, I found. Like the different moves that you do, and a lot of running around in circles as well. Yeah, no change, just what we do here, it's just the same thing.
Now, I've got a bit of a colour theme going on with this one. I'm sort of doing all blues and purples. So you can, the examples that I did, I've gone, let's just do loads of them. Let's just try all the colours. But this one I've decided to keep more of a colour scheme going on. So you can be a little bit, decide what suits
I
you,
like
can't
both,
you?
to be honest.
Yeah.
I love the bright colours of that big one that you made, but when you see all of the colours blending, it looks quite elegant.
Right.
You're drawn to those brights, aren't you?
I am drawn to the brights. Yes, I do quite like bright colours. The pastels are lovely. They are lovely too, though. Like this minty colour. I'm like
That's
that one.
nice. Yeah.
That minty colour.
That'd go well with your purples, wouldn't it?
Well, it would, but it's from a different set, so I don't want to muddle you up. Else people will be going, well, I can't make that one because you did use the wrong colours.
I'm just looking at all those threads. They're $9.99 for 36, but the brights and pastels, they're all different, aren't they? There aren't any crossovers of colours from what I can see.
And what's nice actually is in the packs you have got, usefully, also a white and a black.
Lovely.
Because that's, you often do need black more than you think, don't you?
Yeah.
For a little
Yeah.
outline. So, I thought they were a really good pack actually. In fact, I'm going to use a black, I'm going to outline the heart and then we'll satin stitch the heart and you can see what that looks like because that's if I'd had more time I would have outlined my writing on that one.
Yeah.
But as I say,
You had last
at
night.
8 o'clock last night I'd kind of run out of time really. So for an outline I'm only going to use 2 strands. I'm going to make it a little bit thinner.
Now, when Sue was little, she was taught to embroider our names on your PE knickers, and then moved onto the corner of napkins. She says, I remember there was a huge tall chest in the corridor with long thin drawers, and it was stuffed with a myriad of skeins, and I loved being sent there for supplies. Janet's ordered some for her mum. Linda likes doing Dorset buttons, making spidery patterns.
Oh yes, they're good.
Yeah,
They're
that's a
nice. And
idea.
actually, if you've got lots of embroidery threads left and you haven't got an embroidery project, these would be perfect for Dorset buttons as well.
Now, Diane's watching, and she is a handicraft judge.
Oh,
So she actually wants,
I would
wants to
not
look
win.
at the back of your
I
work.
know, I would not win. I go for the pleasure. I go for the pleasure of it. Yes, but it wouldn't win prizes, I don't think.
We're getting quite a few comments about not being on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. No idea what's going on. Elliot's working on it.
The tech's conspiring against us, isn't
Yep.
it? Okay, just do a nice little. Just going to do a little back stitch outline on this.
Was that Elliot? Oh, he's on his way. He's going to sort YouTube out, Elliot. It's taking him on.
Another good outline stitch actually is a double running stitch or a whole bind stitch. Same stitch, two names. So you go round with a running stitch and then you just go round again and fill in the gaps.
Oh, okay.
With another running stitch. And again, it's a nice straight stitch if you really want your outline to look good. Commonly used in black work.
Now, black work, gold work, white work, red work, is that just depicted by the colour of the
No, they're all
thread?
different.
Oh, are
So
they?
black work is a counted embroidery, so like cross stitch, it's counted, and it now the history of that is it was known as Spanish work. It's thought to be being brought over by Katherine of Aragon and was known as Spanish work until she lost her head and then it got renamed.
That was careless.
Yeah, although it did originate in North Africa apparently. But it was used on Tudor collars and cuffs, very intricate, and it's quite often intricate sort of geometric designs. Whereas red work, now this was more of a rustic sort of an embroidery, a more of a freehand embroidery, and red was used because red was colour fast, a colour fast dye at the time when lots of other colours weren't. Yeah. So actually, they're two totally different things. Later on, blue was used in red work, if you see what I mean, as the dyes got better. But yeah, black work was for mostly for embellishment, and red work was more, yeah, just sort of rough and ready for pleasure, more. So it's quite interesting. I find the history of it all very interesting, actually.
I'm just thinking as well, going back to Tudor times, all those ruffles
Oh, can you
would have
imagine
been
making all those?
handmade and embroidered as well.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, if you were a seamstress at the time, you know, working for wealthy people, I'd have thought you'd be doing well for yourself, wouldn't you? Right, so we've got a little outline.
I wonder how long they were given to actually make something, because it must take months to sew something like that by hand. Yeah, particularly if you're sewing for royalty, and it's got to be unique and exquisite and.
I can't imagine.
No. If I could go back in time for a day, maybe that's the kind of era I'd go back to and spend the day with the sewers.
Tudors. Back to the Tudor times. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to spend too much time there, but it'd be nice to just step back and have a look and pop back again, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think it might be a bit smelly. I'd go back to the 20s.
Because the Tudor buildings had the bit that came out over the pavement, didn't they? So that they could empty their stock outs onto the pavement.
Absolutely.
Because there was no... Of course it'd have been smelly. Ew! And they used to wear lots of perfumes to disguise their smells, didn't they?
Yes.
Gosh. So you go back to the 20s.
I'd go back to the 20s. I'd fancy all the beaded flappered dresses and all those intricate sort of things.
Feathers in your hair.
Definitely. That would be me. But I think I'd prefer to have it made for me and be a lady of leisure personally. Okay, we'll fill in this heart with a little bit of satin stitch.
We've got about 3 minutes left on this one, that's all. Always goes so quickly.
Well, that's gone
doesn't
really
it?
quite quickly, hasn't it? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, Anila would like to learn the different styles of embroidery through history. Did Chris send in a photo of cross stitch? Yeah, the ground green off. No, it's not because we don't consider it embroidery. It's just that we get so many emails, and Kat's producing as well as going through everything. So we'll get around to it.
Cross stitch is following those charts is really quite tricky.
Is it? I've not done a lot of cross stitch, to be honest.
Some of them are ever so complicated. And tiny work,
Yeah.
some of it, yes.
Chris has been doing some Jane Green off. We're trying to get it, Chris, don't worry. Have we got it? There we are. There you go, Chris. There's your picture.
Oh, that's
Here's my work in
lovely.
progress to share. A kit from Jane Greenough to make a pin cushion. That's beautiful. Jane says that cross stitch is embroidery too. Well, it is.
Yes,
it is, isn't it?
absolutely.
Yeah.
There are loads and loads of different sorts. And then you know, obviously historical ones. And then you discover that other countries in the world have their own embroideries. And they're all kind of similar, but they all have little differences as well.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating subject really. Right, there's a nice little satin stitch outlined heart.
Beautiful.
Okay. So,
Well, you've got an hour before you're back again, so I'd
do you think I
imagine
should do a bit more?
I'm picturing you in the green room. You've got a proper green room now, and it's got an iron
it's
and
really
everything.
posh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing you sitting in there doing a bit of embroidery. Thank you very much. We'll
Thank
see you again
you.
later. It's going to be a bit of Christmas coming up with Katherine at 11 o'clock. Let me take you back through the panels that we have for you. So this is the one that Katherine was working on, literally, because that's the gap. So the largest panel here is the when I make with my hands, I give with my heart. So that's the biggest one. And then next one down is Stitch Your Stress Away. And then the missing one was, that's Make, Do and Mend, isn't it, you were working on there? So that's Make, Do and Mend. So this is the larger panel finish, as you can see. You choose your colours, you choose your threads. Katherine's been using the Brights from our embroidery thread collection. And then this is the second panel. So this one is Beautiful Things Come Together One Stitch at a Time, which is the saying on the large one here. And this is what we're saying about the size of the hoop. So you could outline this and then put it in a hoop, but you've got all of this space at the side, so you've got actually quite a large area if you did want to make something like a cushion cover out of it. And then we have Sewing is Therapy. And finally here, the little one is So On and So Forth. Now they're £9.99. This is what the Sewing is Therapy looks like. Exclusive to us, don't shop around, you can't find them anywhere else. And designed and printed in the UK and brand new today and very popular indeed. Dawn sent a picture in as well. Hi Dawn. She can't wait to receive her new panels, but this is what she's been making. Oh, those are lovely. She says, I love the embroidery, especially red work, wait to receive the new panels. Are they Monday Shores? That looks like her kind of style, doesn't it? Those are beautiful. Oh, and Jane sent a picture on Facebook as well. That's nice. That's really traditional, isn't it?
Crewel work a little bit, doesn't it? A little bit of crewel work in there, maybe.
Yeah, that's amazing, Jane. Thank you very much for sending those through. Oh, Chris says thanks. It's nice to hear about the other forms of embroidery as well. It's interesting, isn't it? It's nice to know a little bit of background to your stuff. So those are your two panels. Remember, we do have hoops on the website of varying different sizes. We've got the threads in the Brights and the pastels. Again, sewingstreet.com. Those are £9.99 each for 36 in each one of those, and they're all different too. So there's your Brights, and those are your pastels. And oh, we've got lots of other stuff as well. If you haven't got any hand embroidery needles, we've got those too, in different sizes, so you may need to add those to your order. But you know, if you come back later on, we know what we're like with our postage. You only pay one all day. But if you think, I want 3 hand sewing needles, there's no way I'm paying £3.95 postage. If you've already bought your panels, if you've already bought your embroidery threads, it's not going to cost you any extra for your postage as long as you order today. If you come back tomorrow, we're going to charge you. But if you order today, there's no extra postage to pay when you've already placed an order. Now Noel's coming up after the break, and he's got some crafty products. We've got some new things to show you as well. So again, we're going to take a quick break. We'll see you again in about 5 minutes.
If you'd like to get in touch with us during our live show and send in any messages or any questions, then you can do it on studio@sewingstreet.com. Alternatively, you can message us on our official Facebook page.
Did you know that if you shop with Sewing Street, you're only going to pay one lot of postage all day? That's one payment of £3.95, no matter what you're buying. And you can check out as many times as you like without having to pay another delivery charge. So shop online at www.sewingstreet.com, or you can order via our call centre, which is 0800 001 4433.
Hello, I'm Kerry from Living in Loveliness and I'm delighted to be part of the Sewing Street team. I'm based in Wolverhampton and I absolutely love working with fabulous fabrics. In particular, I love working with fat quarters and showing you how to get the most from your scraps. I love bringing communities of sewists together and encouraging people to sew for greater causes. Most recently, we have been sewing for our NHS and key workers. I look forward to bringing you hints, tips and techniques. I'll see you soon.
Hi, I'm Rosie Wells.
My name's Poppy and I'm a nutritional therapist.
Hi, I'm Ruth Lynette and I can't wait to join you all on the brand new Gemporia Lifestyle channel.
If you're a fan of primal living, you're going to adore what's around the corner.
What is lifestyle? Lifestyle is healthy habits.
Feeling good, it's about looking great,
Making sure that we're taking good care of ourselves inside.
and it's about the life that you lead and the home that you live in.
All of this is why I'm so excited.
We've got the most wonderful team.
Homeware deals and primal deals under one roof on one channel.
I can't wait to share this brand new channel with you. So we'll see you soon on Gemporia Lifestyle.
Gemporia Lifestyle, coming soon to Freeview Channel 74 and gemporia.com.
If you love sewing, then you need the UK's favourite sewing magazine. Every month, you'll receive exclusive patterns. Follow simple step-by-step guides suitable for all skill levels to make your own stunning clothes, accessories and more, together with inspiring tips and tricks from industry experts. Join in and discover your love for sewing. Try Love Sewing today and get your first 3 issues for just £6.
Shopping with us couldn't be easier. If you want to shop online, then you can head to our website, www.sewingstreet.com. It will redirect you to our sister channel Jewellery Makers landing page. Don't worry, you haven't gone to the wrong place. We're simply using their website temporarily while we're building our own web shop. Scroll down past the Watch Live part and you'll see all of the products that you will have seen on air on today's live show. You can also shop our catalogue by clicking a category, clicking a product to view closer and adding it to your basket. Once you're ready to check out, you will need to create an account, which is absolutely free to do so, but it will mean that you can check out on as many orders as you want throughout the day with still only paying one postage and packaging. If you'd prefer to speak to somebody in our UK-based customer service team, then you can do so via the free telephone line number 0800 001 4433. They will not only help you create an account, but will also help you with any of your online shopping.
Hello everyone, I'm Delphine Brooks.
Did you know that if you shop with Sewing Street, you're only going to pay one lot of postage all day? That's one payment of £3.95, no matter what you're buying. And you can check out as many times as you like without having to pay another delivery charge. So shop online at www.sewingstreet.com, or you can order via our call centre, which is 0800 001 4433.
Hello everyone, I'm Delphine Brooks. It's so great to be here and part of the Sewing Street family. I'm local, I'm only down the road in Warwickshire. I started sewing many years ago when I was very young, doing lots of art and painting, and eventually I went into textiles and I really enjoyed doing the two together. I then had a bit of a break. Something you don't know about me maybe is that I spent many years in the Royal Air Force and eventually in the police as well. And then I went full circle and I've come back to my happy place of sewing and which I really enjoy. My best sewing tip is measure twice and cut once. I have chipped up a couple of times by not measuring properly, and I do always regret it, so now I always measure twice, cut once. Anyway, I really hope to be with you again soon, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Debbie Shaw from Sewing Street, and these are my 5 top tips for successful sewing. So, number 1, always use a good quality thread. A good quality thread will keep your seams stronger and also help to prevent lint building up inside your sewing machine. Tip number 2, if your project isn't going quite according to plan, put it down, walk away from it, come back again the next day and you'll probably find that things don't seem half as bad as they did. My tip number 3, never throw away your sewing machine manual, always keep it to hand because you're going to find hints and tips, techniques and troubleshooting in that manual. You'll miss it if you lose it. My tip number 4 is to read your pattern instructions before you even cut out your fabric. Different manufacturers of patterns will give you different instructions, different ways of constructing your garments and different seam allowances. So to have a successful garment, you need to follow the instructions precisely. And then tip number 5 is don't give up. Every professional sewer sewed their first seam. Every professional quilter quilted their first quilt. Every professional quilter sewed their first line of wonky stitches and had to get out the quick unpick. That's no different to you. So I hope you find these useful. If you want more hints and tips, then why not go to Sewing Street on channel 74 on Freeview, on Sky 670, and of course we have a YouTube channel where you can catch up on previous demonstrations. We'll see you soon. Did you know that if you shop with Sewing Street, you're only going to pay 1 lot of postage all day? That's 1 payment of £3.95, no matter what you're buying. And you can check out as many times as you like without having to pay another delivery charge. So shop online at www.sewingstreet.com, or you can order via our call centre, which is 0800 001 4433.
If you'd like to get in touch with us during our live show and send in any messages or any questions, then you can do it on studio@sewingstreet.com. Alternatively, you can message us on our official Facebook page.
Hello, I'm Kerry from Living in Loveliness, and I'm delighted to be part of the Sewing Street team. I'm based in Wolverhampton and I absolutely love working with fabulous fabrics. In particular, I love working with fat quarters and showing you how to get the most from your scraps. I love bringing communities of sewists together and encouraging people to sew for greater causes. Most recently, we have been sewing for our NHS and key workers. I look forward to bringing you hints, tips and techniques. I'll see you soon.
Look at this. Now this is Noel from Crafty Products. Noel and Karen from Crafty Products here with their Gyro-Cut. Wasn't that impressive? That was cutting through leather. I have to admit I am absolutely brand new to this today, and I've got my own that I'm going to have a go with later on as well. But accurate cutting, easy accurate cutting, just using a stylus as if you're using a pen, is what we're all about today. Do you know what, Noel and Karen, I'm going to come straight over to you because you're the experts, your product, you developed it. Do you want to tell us about the product and the history of your company first?
Yeah, we're called Crafty Products Limited. We're a very small family company. We have a product called the Gyro-Cut Pro, which is our latest tool, and it's designed for cutting a whole range of different materials using different blades that can be added to the tool. It was designed by my father a few years back now, and over the years we've developed it into a craft tool with a complete range of accessories to go with it.
So initially when your father designed it, was he a crafter? Was he a paper cutter? Why did he do it?
He was actually an engineer.
Okay.
Running an engineering company in London, and basically he designed different products as part of his role in the company. He designed a product called Polydron, which is a very successful educational toy product used in schools around the UK and around the world, and went on to design the Gyro-Cut as a safe alternative to scissors and craft knives and scalpels. Originally for use in schools because it was very safe for children to use because it had a skin-friendly blade and still does. we then developed it further to become a craft tool, a hobby tool, and so on. And we're still looking at new applications for the tool today.
So you say skin friendly? Is it because when I first read about the product, I was imagining like a scalpel? But
yeah.
How can it cut when it's
well,
not sharp?
I can show you that on my hand, but please do not try this at home. This is the ceramic blade. Now, this is basically a blade for paper, thin card, and that type of thing. It's designed not to cut your skin in normal use. As I say, don't try that at home, but it is a very, very safe blade to use. Our Gyro-Cut Junior tool, which was our original tool, has a hardened steel blade which works in the same way and is equally safe for children to use. If it's a very young child under, say, 10 years old, we recommend adult supervision at all times because it is a sharp point nevertheless. But it's no more dangerous than using a pencil, basically. The new blades that we've developed for cutting fabrics and leather and so on are much sharper. They're a tungsten carbide blade, diamond ground to shape, and they are not skin friendly. So you have to be more careful with those, and they're not for children.
Okay. Can you just talk us through what we're actually offering us today in the kit?
Sure. So with the kit today, you get the Gyro-Cut Pro tool. It comes with full instructions in 4 languages, English, French, German and Spanish. And you get 2 blades, the ceramic blade. That ceramic blade was originally our fabric blade, but we've moved on from that and we've developed new blades. And so we're putting that ceramic blade in as a free of charge blade today to go with the kit. And you can use that for things like paper, thin card, thin mylar, and so on. And then you also get a tungsten carbide blade for fine detail work, and that's used mainly for fabric. So that'll last a long time because it is made of tungsten carbide. It's a very hard metal, very resilient. And you can take one blade out, put the other blade in. I'll show you how you do that shortly. So you get those 2 blades. We're offering 2 different blades as add-ons today. You can get the medium cut blade, which is tungsten carbide, and the deep cut blade, which is also tungsten carbide. And again, we'll go through what those 2 blades will cut throughout the program.
Okay.
And then you also get, in the main kit, you get the sticky mat adhesive. That's to make your mat sticky. We'll be showing you how to use that shortly. Very useful adhesive. It has many uses in crafting and hobby arenas. So you don't want to be without one of these, basically. And then we also do the Fab Grip powder adhesive, which is a fabric stabilization adhesive used with a hot iron to bond paper to the back of your fabric, similar to using Bondaweb, but Bondaweb is one way of doing it, of stabilizing your fabric. We've developed this way as being more versatile, so we'll be showing you that as well today.
So you're going to get all of those, remember, for your £29.96. That's a saving of £5 off what would normally be the price. Okay, what are you going to show us?
Okay, so first of all, the things that you're going to need to get started with the tool are obviously the cutter itself, a good quality self-healing cutting mat. You can get these in a variety of shapes and sizes. This is an A2 size, it's double-sided, and we've made it sticky with our sticky mat adhesive. You'll need the sticky mat adhesive to make your job easier. It is possible to cut without using a sticky mat, but it's far, far easier to use a sticky mat which holds your work down for you. And if you're cutting fabric, you would use our Fab Grip powder adhesive to stabilise your fabric. Okay, so those are the main things that you need to get started. Now, what we do is you've got a little sponge, please. What we use a sticky mat adhesive, just take the lid off, obviously there's a nozzle on the bottle, and you just squirt a small amount onto the mat. I'm not going to show that now because it does take about 20 minutes to dry. Okay. You spread it with an old piece of kitchen sponge, used dry. One bottle like this will do about 8 A2 size mats, so it goes a long way. You're only using you're using quite a small amount. It's white when it's wet, and then it dries clear. So that's useful because you can see exactly where it is on your mat as you spread it.
So do you need to reapply that every time you cut?
No. Once you've applied it onto the mat will stay sticky for many, many months before you need to reapply it. Now, obviously, when you're cutting with our tool, you do get little bits of paper left on your mat. In this case, I've got a bit of leather dust left on my mat, residue. You can either scrape that off with a ruler, or you can wash it off with a wet microfiber cloth. We use a microfiber cloth. It's the most efficient way of getting the residue off. Wash it with the cloth, rubbing the surface, and then once that's dry, it'll be sticky again.
Oh, okay.
So it really is just one application will last for months. Okay.
Will it get dusty?
It will get dusty because obviously it's sticky. It'll gather dust if you don't cover it with something. You can cover it with greaseproof paper, for example, or something like that. I don't bother. I just give it a wash every time I'm going to use it with a wet microfiber cloth, and it'll be like new again. So, incidentally, our sticky mat adhesive is also perfect for all machine mats. So if you have a cutting machine, I can't mention any names, but if you have one of those machines, the mats that they come with do lose their stickiness quite quickly. You can revitalise the mat using sticky mat adhesive, and it'll be better than when it was new, and it'll stay sticky for much, much longer.
Oh, okay.
So that's a great product if you've got a machine mat. This is the way to go. It's much cheaper than buying a new mat. Okay, so that's sticky mat adhesive, great product. Once you made your mat sticky and you left it for about 20 minutes, we recommend giving a new mat about 2 coats of the glue, depending on what you're going to cut. If you're going to cut tissue paper, 1 coat is sufficient. If you're going to cut anything thicker, then we recommend 2 coats, and let it dry in between coats, and then you're ready to go. So it's now tacky, but it's repositionable. So sorry, I need some paper. It's on there. Okay, so if we get a bit of paper here.
Do you mind if I ask you a personal question?
Go on.
Please do.
Yeah.
It depends how personal it is.
You are a couple, aren't you?
We are indeed, yeah. So we're in the same bubble.
So
we're religiously distancing and all that sort of stuff. So I put a bit of paper onto my mat. Now this is just 90 GSM photocopy paper, straightforward printer paper. I've got the ceramic blade installed in the holder, which is the one that comes free with the kit today. And we hold the Gyro-Cut Pro on the pinch point. So if I hold it up like that, you can see.
Following along as we go.
Just pinch.
Well done.
on this pinch point, we call it. That's moulded into the actual handle, so you can't really go wrong. You pinch it there. We keep the blade part vertical. That's very important. This head here has to be vertical. If you tip it over, it changes the angle of the blade, and that'll mean it won't cut properly. So we keep it vertical. And we only cut on the very point of the blade. That's very important as well. So it's unlike any other blade you've ever seen. You can see it rotating on my finger there, hopefully, on the screen. And that's how it works. It follows the direction of my hand.
Right up on the point.
On that very point, that's where it cuts. So if we now put that onto the paper, we use medium downward pressure. Now, downward pressure is very difficult to describe, so you have to practice with that. You just put the point onto the paper and pull it towards you. It doesn't matter if the blade's the wrong way round, because it'll turn and follow your hand itself. So now I've cut 2 lines there. You can see how it's cut those straight lines perfectly. Once you've got the right pressure, you can then explore actually doing freehand cutting different shapes, and you can see how it's cut that perfectly as well. So it's very much like using a ballpoint pen with a bit more downward pressure, and it cuts as you draw. So if you can draw things, that's great, because it'll cut whatever you draw. If you can't draw something, it doesn't matter. I can't draw, so I just print something off the internet and cut around it, decoupage the shape out, and you get some fantastic results very, very quickly and easily.
I'm going to have a go.
Go for it, okay?
Right.
Yep.
So I've got my paper, my mat's all sticky, and just smooth that down.
Yep.
And then hold that upright.
Yep, that's it.
Medium pressure.
Medium pressure downwards,
and then
use it like a pen.
Oh yeah.
Hey presto. Oh. Yeah.
That's all right.
There
we go.
That's it.
Corner.
So I should have pressed a little bit harder, maybe. Is that right?
Well, yeah.
Oh no! Look, that's perfect.
It has cut it. Yeah. So just make sure you use the same medium pressure throughout, so that you get a constant cut. Because if you're doing decoupage and you cut around a picture, you want the whole picture to pop out at the end, rather than bits of it that aren't actually cut properly. So it's quite a liberating feeling, because it's just like drawing something and it cuts it.
Do you know, you're going to get this home, you'll find some copy paper, maybe something that you've printed off by mistake or something, so you're not wasting, and you are just going to be cutting everything for no reason whatsoever. just because it's fun. Could you use it with a template? Is it deep enough?
Yeah, you can use it with different type of templates. So we have different templates for cutting circles and that type of thing. We're not actually selling those today, but we tend to go around the inside of a template. That way your hand doesn't get in the way, because if you put that onto the paper and if you were on the outside, you instantly hit your other hand with it. So now we can just go around the inside and it cuts as you go, and there's a perfect circle that quickly and easily.
So is the key to just keep moving? And do you need to do it quickly?
It's easier if you go quickly, because it's less likely to bind on the template as you go around. But if you were doing quite a complicated shape with a template, then you can obviously go slowly as well. It doesn't matter. You can go any speed you like, but it tends to feel better if you're cutting reasonably quickly, as though you were drawing the shape.
Okay. So what kind of fabrics or materials will it actually cut through?
Okay, so there are different blades that we have for the tool, which I was going to go through shortly. I mean, we can do it now if we put the blade selector up. It's up there now on the screen. Okay, so there are 3 different blades for the Gyro-Cut Pro tool over and above the ceramic blade that you're getting today. The standard blade will cut things like paper, thin card up to about 240 GSM, vinyl and foil, there's that sticky back vinyl, that type of thing, thin mylar and acetate for doing stencils, you can cut photographs very easily, all sorts of model covering materials. That's for people who make Radiant Crop model aeroplanes and that type of thing. It'll cut all the vinyls and decals for that.
Okay.
And so on. So that standard blade, it's not included in the kit today because you've got the ceramic blade free of charge in the kit, but the standard blade is for thin materials. Okay. Then we have the medium blade, which is a medium cut blade. That is a tungsten carbide blade, and that is for cutting things like cotton, polyester, so thin fabrics. Thin felt is very good for cutting felt, but you do need to prepare the felt. We'll show you that shortly. Thicker mylar and acetate for your stencils. Thin leather up to 2 millimeters thickness. Balsa wood, medium thickness of card, and things like sign writing vinyls, vehicle wrapping vinyls, and those types of things. So it has lots of different uses. That's the medium cut blade. That's a sharper blade, so obviously you have to be more careful when you're using that. But it's not as sharp as a scalpel would be, for example. Yeah. Okay, and then the deep cut blade is our is the sort of top of the range blade. That is for thicker fabrics, for things like denims and that type of thing. Although it depends on the thickness of the material. You can use a medium cut blade for that. Thicker felt up to 3 millimeters thickness. Sugar paste, if you're doing cake decorating, you can roll the sugar paste out to 3 millimeters thick. Use a deep cut blade to cut all sorts of shapes before you put it onto the cake. So that's great fun. Thicker balsa wood up to, again, 3 millimeters thickness, leather, thicker card. So if you're doing things like cereal cartons, a lot of people use that in their crafting nowadays. You can cut your cereal cartons with it. And things like polymer clay, it's great for polymer clay.
Really?
And thin foam like funky foam, Depron, all of those things. So if you make a note of the blade selector, it's actually on our website as well if you can't find it back on the TV, but that shows you all of the different things that you can cut with the different blades. Ultimately, if you've got all 3 blades, you can do everything that you need up to 3 millimeters thickness, which is the ultimate way forward.
So just to reiterate what we get in the bundle.
Yep.
Which are the 2 blades in there again?
Okay, so in the bundle you get the ceramic blade, which is our original fabric blade, but that's now, you're going to use that for paper and thin card. You get the tungsten carbide blade, which is a 15-degree blade. That is for fine detail work in thin fabric like cotton and polyester and that type of thing. And then we move on to the medium cut blade and the deep cut blade, which are extras over and above the kit today. So you can buy those as an add-on, and those come in these envelopes. So the medium cut blade is 30 degree. That's for sort of materials up to about 2 millimeters thick. And then the deep cut blade is a 45 degree blade for up to 3 millimeters thick material.
Right.
Okay.
And the 2 of those, £25.98, or you can go for them individually at £12.99 each. So have a look on the website for those.
Yeah, now these are not cheap blades, but they last a long, long time because they're made of tungsten carbide. They're diamond ground to shape. They will last you a long time. Well, if you were using them for fabric, you're talking about well over a year's worth of life on that blade. It's a very hard material, so as long as you don't drop it on the floor and chip it, they will last you a long time. So yes, it's quite a high initial investment, but they will last you a long, long time. Okay. So that's
We're showing people how to change the blades now.
Yep. So if we take to change the blade, you take a pair of pliers and just get hold of the blade with the pliers like that. Hold the blade carrier, which is this piece here, with your finger and your thumb, and just pull the blade out with the pliers. It's just a push fit. It's very easy to take out. To put the new blade in, you can hold it across the sharp bit so it doesn't actually cut you, and then you just push it into the holder. You don't need to push it all the way in because you can then push it down onto your mat to fully engage the blade, and that's now ready to go. Okay? And it's the same thing with the tungsten carbide blades. Just take that one out with a pair of pliers and put the new blade in, and you're good to go. If you want to, if you got the blade there,
Sure.
No, the tungsten carbide one. If you want to be ultra cautious, you can use the pliers to put the blade in as well. So you just hold it on the actual shank of the blade and then push it into the holder, if you can get it straight, that is, like I didn't, like so, and that's now in there, but that is a sharp blade. Again, you can fully engage it by pushing down onto your mat, and that's ready to go now. Okay, so that's the one, that is the deep cut blade, which is the one that we cut the leather with just now. So just literally push down, medium to firm pressure for leather, and it's cut that leather beautifully. No ragged edges, it's just a really nice cut.
Couldn't do that with a pair of scissors, could you?
You would struggle, yeah.
Well, you said balsa wood. You certainly couldn't cut that with a pair of scissors, could you?
No, balsa wood is a tricky one because it has grain, and it is, excuse me 1 second.
Ducking through all the stuff.
Okay, so here's this is 3mm balsa wood, using the deep cut blade again. Make sure it's held down on your sticky mat and just draw the shape in the same way, and it cuts it very, very nicely like so.
Wow.
And there it is. So yeah, balsa wood is notoriously difficult to cut. You get sort of soft balsa and harder balsa, but that blade will cope with balsa up to 3mm thickness.
Wow, that's
so
amazing.
Really useful for model making and that type of thing as well. Again, the sticky mat adhesive holds the balsa wood down. If you wanted to sand the balsa, again, the glue will hold it down while you sand any sort of piece of wood like that, so it doesn't move sideways. So that's useful. It's like an extra pair of hands having that sticky mat adhesive on the mat. Okay. So
do you actually do any crafting, the pair of you, or do you just do a lot of cutting?
Karen, yeah, Karen does a lot of crafting. I'm not that artistic, so I do the development of the products, and Karen sort of tells me what she needs and what we ought to be doing, and I
to
then
some extent,
try to come up with the idea of how we actually
no
achieve
expert,
that.
but I have a bit of fun. So yeah, some cards, some pictures. Just
So here's
bits
something
and
that
pieces.
Karen actually found at a show not long ago. It's a printable polyester. It actually looks a bit like tissue paper, but it's actually polyester, sort of very fine cloth, and you can put that through your printer. And so I printed off this picture of a duck.
Why
just happen
not?
to have that. So if we, I need a ceramic blade again.
It's there.
Oh yeah, okay, sorry, I just got to change this blade very quickly. So take that out with the pliers, get
Show you
my
what you can do with
ceramic
this.
blade, and that's installed now, ready to go. So make sure it's smoothed down onto your sticky mat, and this is decoupage or decoupage if you read that.
Just so you can see it really follows the image.
Best one. So you can go around very fine detail very quickly, and the blade. Oh, I'm cutting through the duck there. Sorry, I went the wrong way. The blade will just follow the direction of your hand. My head's probably in the way.
Again, it's a bit like tracing. You've got the point that's precise. You can see precisely where it's going. It's a matter of just following it around the image, and you'd be amazed at how well it comes out at the end.
Hopefully.
Is it difficult? I was just thinking of your alternative would obviously be a pair of scissors,
Well,
but you're having
scissors,
to lift the fabric up off your worktop to actually get the scissors in there. So you don't get the accuracy.
So that is
No,
the
you don't,
duck
especially
cut out.
on any curves. It's
That bit has been cut out, just left it behind. So that's actually a bit like cutting tissue paper, that stuff. It's very, very fine.
That's amazing.
But you can see how it's cut it very, very cleanly. So if we put that onto a piece of paper now,
you can see.
and you'll be able to see the detail that it's cut out very, very quickly
That's
and easily.
amazing. It actually looks like you photoshopped it.
It does, it does. So this can actually be put onto clothing, I believe, this stuff, and it is like a piece of fabric. So
you can cut really intricately. You try sewing that.
That's
going to be your issue.
Like, I've done the same here with this is a cotton material. You can just find some beautiful fabrics around. I mean, I don't know about you, but I get addicted to them. But beautiful little pictures. That's just been decoupaged out of a piece of fabric. So adding to anything. We got felt on here in denim as well. As I say, you can cut loads of different bits and pieces accurately. Which
so
really
with the fact, would you use your fabric grip on that fabric before you?
Yes, they've been stabilised with fabric just onto normal photocopy paper.
Oh, okay.
Right.
In each case, just to hold them still whilst you cut. Mm-hmm.
And that stays there, doesn't it? The fabric grip. So
you can, you can take it off the back nonetheless. Or if you were doing fabric to fabric, it stays firmly, so you can put it through your washing machine, etc. So it is adaptable. Yeah.
All right. What else are you going to show us?
Well, the way that we actually
quite intrigued. Yeah.
The way that we use the fabric grip powder adhesive is this is a piece of felt. The powder comes in this bottle with a sprinkly lid, so there are two sides to the lid. We use the side with the holes in for sprinkling it. You take the lid off first of all and take the insert out, which is just to protect the powder. Right. Put the lid back on, open it, and then we put first of all, we always put a bit of brown paper over our ironing board to protect it. We don't want to get the sticky glue on your ironing board itself, otherwise you get told off. So then you put the felt or the fabric face down over your brown paper. Sprinkle a very light coat of fab grip powder over the fabric. Now it's a bit like talcum powder, this stuff. It's quite fine, so we recommend wearing a mask when you're using it. Now everybody out there should have a mask by now. If you haven't, you're probably from another planet. So put your mask on when you're using it, just so you don't inhale any. Sprinkle a very light coat. That just comes with a bit of practice, how much you need and how much you don't need. And then put your ordinary photocopy paper over. You can use brown paper if you prefer, but photocopy paper is cheap as chips. You can get like 500 pages for about £3.50 or whatever. Put the paper over and iron it at a medium to high temperature. You can use steam if you want to, depends on how much of a bond you want, but we're looking for a temporary bond where we can actually peel the paper off after we've cut the shape out.
Okay.
So you don't want to put too much glue, you don't want to iron it for too long because then it'll become more permanent. So a temporary bond. This is a piece of felt now with paper on the back, and if we take a
standard, what are you after?
I want the medium cut. Right, medium cut blade, that's the tungsten carbide blade we just told you about. And then you can just use it like a pen and draw the shape that you want. And it cuts through the felt and the paper simultaneously, and you get a really clean, accurate cut. So it's very satisfying, makes cutting felt much, much easier than normal, and then you can peel the paper off the back afterwards and sew the shape on or bond the shape on, whatever you want to do. Okay, so that's how you stabilise any sort of fabric. You can stabilise cotton. You can put wadding onto the back of your cotton if you're doing patchwork, for example. So just sprinkle the fab grip powder onto the back of your fabric, put your wadding over, iron it at a sort of, I would say, high temperature in that case, and that instantly bonds your fabric to your wadding. And that's a washproof bond.
Saves a big job.
So it saves a lot of work. So at that point, it is actually a permanent bond.
This does.
Yeah, that peels off.
away afterwards.
So at the moment, when you peel that away, it's not sticky on the back of the felt?
No.
So, because you mentioned Bondweb earlier on,
yeah.
With something like that, you peel the paper out, then you have to iron it into something.
And
you don't have to with this one.
That's a very good point. We developed Fab Grip because Bondweb is always on the back of your fabric once you've used it. You don't have a choice. We talk to a lot of people at shows, and constantly asked, well, we don't want bonder web on the back of our fabric, but we need to stabilise it. So that's why we developed this the way we did, to make it temporary and permanent. So it's temporary if you're putting paper onto the back of fabric.
Yeah.
If you put fabric to fabric, it becomes, with a high temperature, it becomes a permanent bond, and it's washproof. So it gives you more flexibility, more versatility than things like bonder web or other types of sticky product. So we've got some fabric here that this has got the paper already bonded on using Fab Grip, so it's been ironed on, and the medium cut blade. Now, in the kit today, you get the 15-degree tungsten carbide blade. Okay, so if I actually use that, that's this blade here, so it's in this holder, and that I'll just show you a basic cut like that in the fabric, just to show you how it cuts it. It's cut that perfectly, nice clean cut. But if you wanted to decoupage one of those shapes out of the fabric, if we go for I think that's St. Paul's in London, so just go round the shape again as though you were drawing with a pen, and you're just using the actual, it's the point that does the cutting, and you can take your time and just do some really fine detail work. Sometimes you've got to go in the other direction, otherwise it'll pull it off the mat if it's a very fine piece of detail. And go around, follow it all the way around, and the idea is to keep the same pressure on the whole time, and that way it'll pop out at the end, hopefully. So keep going round, and by the way, you need lots of light when you're doing this, so you want to have a nice craft light in your workshop.
Oh,
so there is the shape cut out. You've got to put the paper there.
Oh yeah, sure.
Thanks. And if we put that on a piece of paper, you can see the detail we've just cut out. And again, that is fabric, it's cotton fabric. So it's very, very quick and easy. You have to do a little bit of practice first, so get a bit of scrap fabric and just practice your pressure and drawing shapes with it, so that you get the idea of how you control the direction, and then you can cut shapes out very quickly and easily.
Just trying to get my nail into that because it's just getting the edge.
Yeah, you want to use a pin to separate the paper from the fabric usually.
Ideally,
yeah.
I don't have
enough
one, so
I've got a tray of pins if you want them next to you.
I'll find it in a second.
Okay, so that's how you can decoupage out of fabric. That would be pretty difficult to cut these little shapes out with scissors. I mean, there are people out there who can use scissors that way very successfully, but you have to turn them around, turn the shape around and so on, and then you normally end up with little cross cuts to make it actually come out at the end.
Yeah.
Because we're cutting in one continuous path usually, you know that it's going to come out of the fabric at the end, so it's very satisfying.
And you don't have to turn it around because the blade, you saw that on that real close-up shot, it turns around.
If I hold the Gyro-Cut Pro by the blade, you can see how that rotates. It's a very, very free rotational movement achieved by some high precision bearings. So there is actually more to the tool than meets the eye, but that's the key to how it works, is that free rotation and the angles that we built into the blade and the handle. So everything is designed so that it's ergonomic to hold, it's easy to use, and it'll just reproduce accurate cuts over and over again.
Without actually the repetitive motion of using scissors, which I don't know about you, I have problems with my knuckles these days, and that I can cut for a little while, but then everything starts to ache a bit.
We find a lot of people coming to us that say they have one problem or another with their hands. It's very similar to holding a pen, to give somebody an idea, so it does help a lot of people. From that point
and
of
even
view.
pressure, even though you wouldn't be able to do such intricate cutting with a rotary cutter, but even then, depending on your rotary cutter, you've got to put pressure from almost your shoulder down there.
That's right.
But you just seem to be like a magic wand, just wafting. I know there's pressure there, but
there is some.
Well, you mentioned a rotary cutter. I mean, I have several rotary cutters, and I do use them for different applications, but they do have limitations. They're very sharp, so you've got to be very careful how you use them. They're great for cutting straight lines, but they're not particularly brilliant for cutting sort of wiggly lines or complex curves or intricate shapes. So if I just demonstrate, we have this is a plastic ruler effectively, it's one of our products, but we have a straight edge and we have a wiggly edge. So if we put that straight edge over the fabric, I'm using this is the 15-degree blade that comes with the kit now that I'm using. You can run it along the edge of your plastic rule and it won't damage your plastic rule, but you get a nice straight cut. And I've actually cut across some other cuts there and it didn't make any difference. So you get a nice straight cut that way, but we can also do the wiggly edge and then run the Gyro-Cut Pro along that, and it'll follow the actual edge of your template and reproduce that shape in your fabric. So you can reproduce that over and over again. So for example, if you were cutting a card, you could put a nice edge on your card. Instead of having a straight edge, have a wiggly edge that you can reproduce over and over again very, very quickly. So that's another beauty of our blade, is that it won't damage your template or your plastic ruler. You can use a metal ruler if you prefer, but you don't need to with our tool. Okay, so.
I love my rotary cutter and my ruler. I need to replace my 6x24 ruler at the moment because I keep chipping into the same part of it, and now I hit it every single time.
Doesn't do straight lines anymore, yeah.
But there is an issue there for a lot of people, like you said, with the blade being so sharp.
Yes.
If you've only got to touch a blunt rotary cutter blade and you cut yourself, they can. You've got to be very confident to use them, I think.
They're great products, but you have to use them with a lot of caution.
Yeah.
Our product, with the tungsten carbide blades, they are sharp blades, but they're not sharp like a scalpel. I mean, they won't readily cut your skin. Don't try that at home.
If you try really hard, you'll cut yourself.
If you try hard enough, you can cut yourself. But it's not like a scalpel blade. It's cutting because of its shape, not because of its sharpness per se. So. It's a different type of blade technology that we've developed, and it's patented and so on for that reason. But they're different sorts of tools. This doesn't replace your scissors or your rotary cutter, but it's a great addition to your craft kit because it does things that those won't do. And so you're adding to your flexibility and capability by having the Gyro-Cut Pro. And we'll continue to develop things around it so that you can always watch out for things that we bring out to go with it.
I think it's.
Oh, sorry.
So no, it's one of those products that you need to see as well. Because to be honest, if I walk past that in a craft shop, I'd walk straight past it in a craft shop.
That has been our biggest problem.
It's the issue we have.
It's not a retail product. We can't put this on a shelf in a shop. It just won't work.
No.
Because unless you had a video of us demonstrating it in the shop, which every shop won't do, it won't sell. So we absolutely rely on either face-to-face demonstrations or shopping channel demonstrations like this, because it shows you, the audience, how it works, and then you can come up with some ideas of how you would use it and how it would fit into your craft tool kit.
Well, come and let us know if you've got yours already, because you're on Sewing Quarter, weren't you, with it? So I know a lot of you will have these already. How do you find it? And what kind of reaction do you get from the shows? That must have really affected you actually this year, because there aren't any shows.
Yeah, that's right. We were doing at the peak. We were doing about 40 shows a year.
Wow.
These are exhibitions. And it was probably half of our turnover. And so it has affected us massively. But we're lucky in that, throughout lockdown, people out there have been crafting more. And, the guys who do model aeroplanes have been building more model aeroplanes. And so our website went mad. All of our social media has been going crazy. And people, do love the product. So we get fantastic feedback on different social media channels, and we get people message us to say they don't know how they ever live without a Gyro-Cut, which is great. It's great to hear, and it's just nice to get that feedback. So if anybody does buy one today or have already got one, please let us know. How you've used it, and send us some artwork examples. We'd love it.
Because there's going to be somebody at home that says you haven't even mentioned the way that I use mine. People come up with their own ideas, don't they?
Exactly.
Yes, come let us know how you're getting on.
Yeah. So if we just change mats, because Karen's going to do a bit now.
Yeah, it's just that we get some residue from the leather and such, and that means it's
not
quite so
tacky.
tacky.
With my leather, yeah, sorry.
So I'm going to do the same now.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to use the medium cut blade and just show you a few things that you can do with that. We've mentioned them, but just to show people quite how straightforward it is. So I've got a nice piece of leather again here. And basically, first of all, I thought I'd show just a straightforward heart shape. And I'm going to use the template afterwards so you can see what we're doing. So the circular template, I'm going to run that round, show you how easy it is to actually make shapes in leather, not just the, and I should have just gone on that second time. There you go.
Oh, look at that. Do you know, I was just thinking as you were doing that, cutting
shows.
something from the centre like that.
Yeah.
If you're using any scissors, well, you couldn't use rotary cutter, you've got to cut into it first.
It's
so
much
even
easier
cutting
just
a
for
circle, you waste that circle that you've cut out because you've had to cut into it.
Yeah, but for stabilisation, it's always easier to do the middle bit, the detail stuff in the middle first, and then do the bigger shape round it as well. It just makes life a lot simpler for holding it still.
I have to say, good freehand heart as well. Not the easiest things to draw, are they?
But yeah, just to show you, so the leather works a treat with, and then I thought to show you some denim.
Okay. So just going back to leather, straight onto the mat, no...
Straight onto the mat, yeah, that it will hold nice and firmly on the mat. Don't need to back that one. Denim you do, we've pre-prepared, you can see the lovely paper sticking out the back.
Noel, are your jeans shorts now?
Yes!
Funny you should say that, because I had to select a pair of jeans that I couldn't actually wear anymore because I had holes in the knees or whatever. Actually,
that's a trend.
They're very trendy, and apparently the latest trend is to have green marks on your knees as if you've been kneeling on the grass. Well, I've got plenty of those before anyone to provide them. So yes, I've got a pair of shorts now.
So basically, I just here as well, denim, nice and easy. You can see straight through. I'm going to do the good old wiggle because we seem to like that one. Beautiful clean cut again. And also I thought I'd show you for a sharp corner with this because it might be a question that somebody might have. If you take your blade straight down to where you want to turn, if you stop, lighten your pressure just a tiny touch, let the blade turn, you can see how that will turn, and then push on from where you go, you'll get a really crisp, sharp corner. You can see that against my hand there, hopefully.
So and while you've got the paper on the back, though, that's not going to fray, is it?
Not whilst it's on there, no. I mean, obviously afterwards we can't aim for it. You can see that just comes away. You're left with a bit of fluff on there, but that's nothing. Okay, so that's how that one works. I also thought felt. A lot of people like felt. And again, you do need to stabilise it. That's a fantastic method of getting the same with the fab grip again. Straight onto the paper. So that will then be held by the sticky mat adhesive onto the board. And again, you can follow shapes. You could use your template. You could use whatever. I'm just going to do a quick shape in here, hopefully, and take it. Of course, you can never see very well what you're doing until you've got it at the end. But all will be revealed. Won't be tick. And just hopefully make use of the season. And you can see there, you've got your bat straight out of felt.
The lovely thing about felt is that it doesn't fray, so you could just string your bats together and make a bat bunting.
You could indeed. You could apply it to different bits and pieces as well. I can't get hold of the corner on that one at this with the time I have, but again to show you, it'll come away.
Fantastic.
And you're
so that could be cutting out letters. Maybe you're making a bunting or a happy birthday or Halloween, or because again, it's that. But if you're cutting out the shape of an R, then the outline's okay. It's that little D shape in the middle that's going to be really difficult to get accurate.
And again, I mean, this is funky foam.
Again, I love that stuff, yes.
Okay, there you go. So we could show you in that, for example. And that can be held just by straight onto the board there with the sticky mat adhesive. So again, yes, you would take the D or the R, you take the middle bit out first.
Right.
So again, I paused for the corner and then went round. After that, it's a matter of following it. Now, obviously you can draw this on first or print it on, whatever you want to do. And funky foam being that little bit sort of spongy, just takes that second to feel round and pause whilst you're going to change direction. But again, not the best R in the world, but it's the technique we're after. And you've got that out of there.
Well, I think that's a pretty good R.
Okay.
But again, you can draw. You can, as I said, you can print if you don't have the confidence to freehand draw.
Yeah, this is the issue for lots of people. I don't get very complicated. Little bits and pieces are fine. Same again with the leather, the detail in it, absolutely fine. Not very Not exactly a set font, but there you go. Gives you an idea. Also, making mylar stencils. We've got the mylar over there. My able assistant.
I don't know where it is.
Not to worry. A lot of people like to make stencils, whether it's a bit for actually decorating walls or cards, whatever it might be. Mylar, which is similar to acetate, but it's the American version, is what we tend to use.
The problem is it's see-through mylar, so it's not very easy to find. That's why I wrote mylar on it.
Is that the king's new clothes?
Yes. So, one sheet of mylar. Again, it will be held by the sticky mat adhesive, and it works a treat with it. It'll just twist and turn.
And which blade are you using now?
This is still the medium blade, but I know that you can with my. Depends on the depth of your mylar. This one I think is about 100 microns, and to be honest, the standard blade would work with this as well. I just happen to have the medium in my hand, and you can go thicker with that one because some of them are thicker. Do an easy one, and it's a question of whether you can see. What's it going to be good to show it against? Maybe that one.
Oh yeah.
You can see.
So Karen's seahorse.
Oh, all right. So obviously you can do all sorts around that, whether it's spray painting, whether it's sponging, whatever, or you can use the negative. And it just is very adaptable.
So that could be, like you said, stenciling on walls, so it could be home decor, you could be making borders out of it.
Yeah.
If you're decorating picture frames or mirrors.
Totally.
But if you're painting onto fabric, maybe you've got some silk paints.
Yeah.
You could use the stencils.
You can still use that, exactly. Yeah. So it just adapts to so many different materials now.
Yeah.
That it's really handy and very portable, etc. So yeah, it has a lot of plus points.
I don't mind. Mine's spinning now. I don't know about you. Just thinking of different things that I can cut.
Hopefully
we can have holes in everything.
Lots of different shaped holes, though. That would be the fun bit.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, so I'm going to recap about the kit.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I was so engrossed, not doing my job. So we've put together a mega bundle for you. So this is what you're actually going to get in the kit altogether. So you have for your £29.96, most of all, look, you've got a £5 saving, but you've got your cutting tool, the blade, the adhesives, so there's the Fab Grip, which is your kind of Bonder Web equivalent, but without leaving glue on the back, and then you've got your sticky mat adhesive. So all you're going to need is your cutting mat, which you need to have as a dedicated cutting mat for your Gyro-Cut Pro, and that's it. And then some ideas is all you're going to have. We have extra blades for you as well. So we have a bundle of 2 of those together. So this is going to be the medium cut and the deep cut, both of those together for your £25 summing. £25.98 for the both of those. There you go, look. So that's a bundle of the 2 of them. We do have these available individually at £12.99 each as well. So it's just the medium one that you wanted to go for. That is this one, medium cut, at £12.99. So maybe you've got your Gyro-Cut already, you just want to go for some extra blades. Or you can go for the deep cut. A lot of you doing that actually. And again, that's £12.99. Now, if you're not sure which one to go to, we do have a little reminder for you. So these are the different blades that we have. So have a quick read through. So you've got your standard. I can't quite read that, but I'm sure you can at home. You can get a bit closer. We've got a 2 metre distance between me and the camera. So we've got thinner felts and fabrics, thin leather, maybe. Can't quite see.
Yeah, so the medium one is thin fabric,
Thanks,
thin
Noel.
felt, medium mylar, acetate, thin leather up to 2 millimetres thickness, thin balsa wood, medium sort of card, up to about 250 GSM on that one. Things like vehicle wrapping vinyls, if there are any vehicle wrappers out there, it's great for that. And sign writing vinyls, that type, the sort of thicker vinyls with a sticky back. Okay, so it's important to note also that some of you out there might have our original blue Gyro-Cut. This is now called the Gyro-Cut Junior. these blades that we're using today do not fit the blue Gyro-Cut.
Oh, right, okay.
It's a different diameter. Now, we've increased the diameter of the blade because that actually increases the performance of the tool. Because it's a trailing edge concept, by making the blade a bigger diameter, the principle works about 20% more efficiently. So you'll be able to do more finer detail with the Gyro-Cut Pro than you can with the Gyro-Cut.
Right, okay.
Okay, it's important to note that they're not interchangeable. I was going to demonstrate on a cereal carton now with a Gyro-Cut Pro. This is the deep cut blade. It's also important to mention that it's not necessarily just about the depth of cut, but the angle of the blade is quite critical to the type of things that you can cut with it. So a 45-degree blade will go through leather much more smoothly than a 15-degree blade would.
Really?
Yeah, so the angle is also critical, and that was part of our development process. So generally speaking, the deep cut blade will cut deeper, thicker fabrics and thicker materials than the other blades, but it's also important to look at the blade selector and make sure that what you're trying to cut is actually mentioned on the blade selector for that particular blade, because we've spent a lot of time going through cutting different materials to make sure that the angle of the blade is ideal for that particular material. So this is this is a deep cut blade on a cereal pack now. I do a fair bit of stuff with cereal packets because it's cheap as chips and you've already got it. So there is a nice clean cut through that card. Now this is a relatively hard card on a cereal pack, so it's generally quite difficult to cut, but with the deep cut blade it's very, very easy to cut. Okay, so that's a great medium for a cheap material. There is another use of the product is to sort of upcycle your cards. So here's I need a medium cut blade. So I'm going to use a medium cut blade on this card. This is a birthday card, but we can use that cat shape on another card or another project or scrapbooking or whatever. And you can just, I won't cut around the whole thing because of the time restraints, but you draw around the shape, take your time and do all the fine detail. And you can see how the blade reacts to the direction of my hand and cuts it as you go. So this could be a photograph that you're cutting out. We're going to go around that way. There's quite a lot of detail on here, and then round his or her chin. Not quite sure whether it's male or female, but
yeah, the detail that you can actually pick out is incredible. It's very
So that's what
responsive.
I just cut there. Hopefully you can see that easily on the camera. So you're using pictures out of your old Christmas cards, birthday cards or whatever, and reusing them on new projects. So that's great fun, and it's a good use of the cards as well.
We used to do that when I was little. We'd always save cards and then make gift tags out of them the next year.
Yeah,
gift tags is perfect for that, yeah.
That's brilliant. Did you want the wadding?
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, yes.
And this is I mentioned putting wadding onto the back of your fabric earlier. So that's a piece of wadding on the back of the fabric using.
Oh, that's going to drag, surely.
The Fab Grip powder adhesive. Okay. Well, hopefully not. So if we put that onto our mat, now, obviously the wadding doesn't stick brilliantly to the sticky mat adhesive, but it does a pretty good job. If we use I'll use the medium cut blade. And we'll use a plastic rule and do a straight cut. Now it's picked it up a little bit, but it still cut it perfectly. As you can see, it's a nice, clean, accurate straight cut.
Oh, that's amazing.
Now, it's not quite so easy to cut with the wadding on because it can pick it up a little bit as you go, but it does cut it, as you can see there. So you're going through the fabric and the wadding on the back at the same time. So that's quite overall, that's about probably 3 millimeters thick. Okay. So that's a really useful, but using the Fab Grip powder adhesive, putting wadding on the back of the fabric is really, really useful. Very quick and easy, and very satisfying.
Thought you want coloured.
Okay, so
this hour has gone so quickly. We've got
I know
about 2
it
minutes
does.
left.
That's the problem.
Oh, gosh.
So I've got some industrial tape here. I'm not allowed to call it by its actual name, but you know what it's called. And I'm not going to put it straight onto my mat because I don't want to have to peel it off afterwards, but I'll put it onto a piece of paper. So I've got a piece of 90 GSM photocopy paper, and a piece of tape on top of it, and we'll use actually that's a medium cut blade. I'll use the blade that comes with the kit, which is the tungsten carbide blade in this case, but you could use the ceramic blade as well. Use it like a pen, just draw the shape that you want, and it cuts through the industrial tape and the paper at the same time with a perfectly smooth cut, and it's that easy. So even with the blade that comes with the kit, that's the tungsten carbide blade, you can do all sorts of amazing stuff in paper, card, thin fabrics and so on. Okay.
Sorry, I'll just carry on, I'm having to go.
Go for it.
Please do. Are there any other questions which have come up in the meantime that we can help with? Or?
No, we've had absolutely no questions whatsoever. I think you have covered absolutely everything.
Brilliant.
Okay, so I'll finish off on the artwork with the ceramic blade. That's the one, the free one that comes with the kit. And we'll just do a spiral. So all I'm doing is just drawing a spiral. Very, very easy to do. But it's a great sort of crowd pleaser at a party, that one, because it's like a magic trick. And it's cut it perfectly all the way around like that. So that's easy to do and great fun. So what are you doing over there now?
Playing.
Playing. That's what it's all about.
Do you know, it takes some getting used to the blade turning around, because I automatically just want to
do all for it, don't you? You get used to doing
and
it,
just
all the
on
work,
the
but you don't have to.
Yep.
Oh, that wasn't very good. So I could use my my early bird pens to draw with first. And
yeah, you can draw the shape and then cut around the shape, decoupage it out. That's another good way of doing it.
Oh, this looks like something a 5-year-old's done.
Not wanting to insult 5-year-olds, of course.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Well done.
Look at that.
And I did the middle bits as well.
Yeah, the middle bit comes out. You can take it out with the blade usually. You just pop it out with the actual end of the blade. That takes a bit of getting used to, but it is doable.
It's a knack.
Oh, well, that's so much fun though.
I'd send Karen over there to do it for you, but
I'm not allowed.
She can't because there's
You're
social distancing. That's a good effort. Very good.
That's amazing though, how detailed they can actually be.
Well, you've actually qualified to be one of our demonstrators by being able to do that. So,
do you
well
pay
done.
well?
No, we don't.
Absolute rubbish.
How small can you go?
Don't forget Halloween's coming up, and you can do some great Halloween stuff with the Gyro-Cut Pro. So there is an example of some
very quick and easy
paper that's been cut out and some funky foam at the bottom. So the kids love doing these sort of projects.
Oh, indeed, you can make this bunting.
And the bunting.
If you get the fabric in. Yeah.
Can you get the camera onto the bunting? Yeah, that's all fabric that's been cut. It's done without any sewing, so it's done by cut it out and use Fab Grip powder adhesive to stick it together and put it onto the string.
And in fact, all of the artwork above there as well. So
that's all done. That's all done with the Gyro-Cut Pro tool as well. This is fabric here that's been cut out.
Yeah, that's all fabric.
I did that for the show, and it took me under an hour to do all of the cutting on that. So very, very quick and easy. And stick it onto a background and frame it. Very, very good. So.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Not here on Sunday, but I'm glad on a Monday, but I'm glad I am today.
But bear in mind, if you've already got one of these, get one for your friends for Christmas, because it makes a great stocking stuffer for Christmas. So great gift for anybody who does crafting.
And it's nice to have a product that will cross different crafting genres as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's a very, very useful tool, and you can cut many, many different materials. So.
Yeah. I've had a really lovely show. It's just a shame it's gone so quickly. Are you back again, do you know? Have we given you any updates or anything?
Well, I'm sure we will be shortly, but we haven't got a date as yet. But hopefully we could do something before Christmas. That would be useful.
That would be good.
Yeah,
brilliant.
We'll do a Christmas theme.
Hope to see you then.
Where can we find you meantime? You got a website?
Yeah,
absolutely.
we're on our website, which is www.craftyproducts.co.uk. You can see us on YouTube. There's a lot of YouTube videos around the Gyro-Cut and the Gyro-Cut Pro tool. We're on Instagram and that type of thing, Facebook.
Yeah. Oh, you're all over the place.
We try to be, and we're hoping to get feedback from the audience once they've had a go with the tool and let us know how to get on with it.
Always good to hear from them.
Yeah, that's good.
It'd be great to hear from them.
Well, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
We'll see you soon. Thank you. We've got from Halloween to Christmas coming up in the next hour, so Katherine again is waiting in the wings. Let me show you again the bundle. And it's a bit all over the place now, isn't it? This is what you're getting for your £29.96. So there's 2 blades included, and you've got your sticky stuff for your mat, and you have your the fab grip for your fabric as well, of £29.96. They are all available individually on the website if you don't want to go for the whole bundle, but if it's the first time you've ever used your Gyro-Cut, then the bundle's got to be the best way to go, and it's going to be the most affordable way for you as well, because you've got your saving there too. So yep, have a look on the website on sewingstreet.com and take a look at the extra blades and things that we have available for you there too. And remember, Noel and Karen want feedback. How are you getting on? Right, so Katherine's waiting in the wings as we speak, so we're going to do a little bit of Christmas sewing in the next and final hour this morning. See you in a couple of minutes.
If you'd like to get in touch with us during our live show and send in any messages or any questions, then you can do it on studio@sewingstreet.com. Alternatively, you can message us on our official Facebook page. Shopping with us couldn't be easier. If you want to shop online, then you can head to our website, www.sewingstreet.com. It will redirect you to our sister channel Jewellery Makers landing page. Don't worry, you haven't gone to the wrong place. We're simply using their website temporarily while we're building our own web shop. Scroll down past the Watch Live part and you'll see all of the products that you will have seen on air on today's live show. You can also shop our catalogue by clicking a category, clicking a product to view closer, and adding it to your basket. Once you're ready to check out, you will need to create an account, which is absolutely free to do so, but it will mean that you can check out on as many orders as you want throughout the day with still only paying 1 postage and packaging. If you'd prefer to speak to somebody in our UK-based customer service team, then you can do so via the free telephone line number 0800 001 4433. They will not only help you create an account, but will also help you with any of your online shopping.
Hi, I'm Debbie Shaw, and as a professional sewer, I really know how important it is to use a high quality thread. Well, you think about it. You spend a lot of money on your sewing machine, you'll spend a lot of money on fabric, and you'll spend a lot of time sewing. So why let your thread let you down? I know a lot of our designers and customers prefer to use Aurifil thread. Now, this is a family business. It was established in 1983 and they're based just outside Milan in Italy. They produce superior quality threads for domestic and professional sewers alike, and they've achieved worldwide success with quilters, sewers, embroiderers and textile artists who all appreciate the versatility and the strength of these threads. It's all made from Egyptian cotton, which is grown just at the side of the River Nile, and Aurifil only use the long staple threads, which gives their thread that strength. Each one of these threads goes through 15 steps before it even gets onto a spool and then comes to you to use in your sewing projects. Now at Sewing Street, we've collaborated with Aurifil and we've brought you 2 collections of threads. So we have the Quilters collection, and these are exclusive to Sewing Street. We've done a lot of research with quilters, and these are the colours that you prefer to use. So we put a whole collection together for you. The second collection is the Essential collection. So this is for the homemakers, for the bag makers, for the craft sewers, for the dressmakers. And again, these have been proven to be the most popular colours that you're going to use. So if you want your projects to last longer and your seams to be stronger, invest in some quality thread.
Did you know that if you shop with Sewing Street, you're only going to pay 1 lot of postage all day? That's 1 payment of £3.95, no matter what you're buying. And you can check out as many times as you like without having to pay another delivery charge. So shop online at www.sewingstreet.com, or you can order via our call centre, which is 0800 001 4433.
Hello, I'm Katherine Wright. I'm from Leicestershire Craft Centre, which is based in Market Harborough. I love all kinds of sewing, but probably my favourite thing to do is dressmaking. But I also teach patchwork and free motion embroidery and anything to do with textiles really. I love to have a go at felting and crochet and knitting and, oh, you name it, I'll have a go at it. So I started sewing when I was 7. My mum taught me to sew, and the very first thing I made was an apron. But I'm a terribly impatient person. I just want to get on with the project. So I didn't wait for her to help me cut it out, and I cut it out myself, and I didn't know you had to have a seam allowance. So I made the world's smallest apron, and my mum still has it somewhere. Sewing tips, I would say, I teach a lot of people to sew, especially beginners, and I would say don't get disheartened. Take your learning journey slowly. Don't expect to suddenly make a ball gown or suddenly make a king-size quilt. Build up your skills, you know, slowly. And I would also say the iron is your friend. Use your iron a lot. It makes your sewing look so much better. It helps you get things in place where you want it before you sew, and is a really handy thing to have.
If you'd like to get in touch with us during our live show and send in any messages or any questions, then you can do it on studio@sewingstreet.com. Alternatively, you can message us on our official Facebook page.
Hello, welcome back again. As promised, we've got a little bit of Christmas coming up in this hour with Katherine, and this is what you're going to be able to make ×6 of each for your Christmas dinner table. Aren't they gorgeous? Because we're allowed to, at the moment, we're allowed 6 people, aren't we? At the moment. So it may just end up being one of each of those, you know, the way things are going. So full instructions for a start off. And then it's nicely packaged as well. I like a nice box that I can maybe reuse afterwards, and all of your fabrics included as well, as you see here. And I don't know about you, I like a traditional Christmas. We do have a bit of silver going on in the living room, but most of our decorations are very traditional, with a traditional tree, not a real one. And I just love these kind of colours. They're never going to date, and obviously you're going to be able to use these year after year after year. So it's £32.99. The red fabric's included there as well. The only thing extra you may it's all posh then. You may need to add to your order is the wadding if you don't have any already. So £32.99, and have a close-up look there at what you're going to do. So Katherine's used free motion embroidery on these. I suppose you could hand embroider if you prefer, but this is what we're going to be taking a look at with Katherine in just a second. So come and let us know what you're doing at Christmas, or what you're planning to do at Christmas, and what kind of Christmas do you have. The only reason we have a traditional Christmas every single year is because decorations are so expensive. I'm not buying new ones, so my decorations tend to be about 30 years old. For a plique, again, if you don't have any already, we have rolls of Bondaweb. Iron this onto the back of your applique fabric, cut out shapes, re-iron it back onto your fabric, and it gives a really good adhesion. So you're getting a rather large sheet here. In fact, that is 5 metres by 30 centimetres in total. So that's a lot of holly leaves. That's going to last you a long, long time, and that's £23.99. And wadding, now this is a first in my show, certainly. You've got this by the half metre. Don't normally do that. Normally wadding's all pre-cut. So you can buy half a metre, you could buy a metre, order 2 units, you could order 10, you get 5 metres, and it's £6.99 for your half a metre. Chris thinks your placemats are lovely. So again, that's what we've got for you. I know you want to see how to do this, so where are we going to start?
Oh, do you know what? I had such fun designing this. I
Did you?
Yeah, I really did enjoy it. And I chose traditional colours, but I felt like my design was maybe a little bit more modern.
Yeah.
So modern and traditional together. So in the kit, you've got obviously all your fabric. You've got some lovely templates for everything. So the first thing I have done is, well, obviously I cut all my fabrics. So 6 rectangles that are 28 by 35 centimetres for your background. And then I've traced over the nice circle for my wreath base, because we're going to stitch that first, and then we're going to add all the holly leaves and ivy, but you can see we've got the templates for all of those as well. I'm just going to give my eldest daughter a name check because she did this beautiful writing on them by hand for me as well. Gosh, she's so clever. So I've got my circle drawn on there. Now I'm going to pop the wadding underneath it to do the free motion. I find your free motion comes out better if you've got your wadding underneath.
Oh, right.
That's just me. Haven't cut it exactly because I'll trim it down at the end in case you get a little bit of shrinkage. The wadding isn't included in the kit, but you only need about 3/4 of a metre to do the whole set. And I did find, because I make quilts, all my offcuts were brilliant for this.
Yeah.
So you haven't got to buy a massive piece if you don't need to. But yeah, if you know, about a metre, if you need to get some, get two little units would do you fine for this. I'm just going to pin it in place, but you could tack it, you could use the spray adhesive, just something to hold the two layers together. Whatever your preferred method of choice is. I know you like the old spray adhesive, Debbie.
I do like a bit of 505, yes. So myself.
Well, I'd not used it until I came here on Sewing Street, and actually I'm getting quite fond of it as well. It's very handy. Okay, so I've got the machine set up for free motion, fingers crossed. It was out the back. You want a nice small, if you're setting your machine up for free motion, and actually it's all in the instructions, how to set your machine up and some tips for doing good free motion, because if you've not done it before, it's a bit of a new feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. I can't reach the foot pedal.
It's a little bit like cutting with the Gyro-Cut.
It's
because
like drawing,
when you're used to cutting in one direction, whether it's scissors or a rotary cutter, then all of a sudden you can cut in different directions. It's the same with the sewing, isn't it? You're not just sewing from the front to the back, you're sewing in any direction you want to.
So we're going to go round our circle a couple of times. Now don't feel you've got to get this dead on. You can see I've gone wobbly already. That's as I lifted my foot. You actually want it to look a little bit rough and a little bit hand-drawn. The idea is naturalistic. But
it looks scribbly, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
I like that look.
So your circle that you've drawn is just to give you an idea. So you can see I'm really going quite wobbly. But you can go round again, 2 or 3 times.
But it looks like one of those, like the willow wreaths, like a twisted
That was the idea
wreath,
I got in my mind, yes.
So if it was a perfect circle, it wouldn't work.
It wouldn't. And remember, if you've done a slightly dodgy bit, you can cover it with one of your applique holly leaves, if there's a bit that really hasn't worked.
I love free motion embroidery. I think out of all of the different techniques that are available for sewers, it's my favourite thing to do. I find it fun, I like the look of it. It's no two projects you ever make are going to be exactly the same because you can't. And it looks really difficult. The result looks as though you've used a difficult process to do it, and it's not. It's easy.
No, it's not the best. I have to say, the lovely man has moved the machine, and it's so that you can all see, but it's a slight stretch for me. Okay, so I've got my nice circle base, and as I say, if it's not perfect, don't worry, because the idea is it's a natural look, and we're going to put all our berries and things on. Now, you can, if you want, when you're doing this, decide to copy all your leaves and everything and trace them all at the same time. 78 holly leaves you need to trace. However, I did do it to show you what it looks like. I have cut some out just so you can show that you've got plenty of fabric in your kit. So that was all of the holly leaves, less 10 that I've just cut out to use today. So you can spend half an hour getting all your tracing done, and you've got your ivy leaves and you've got all your little bows and berries there on your fabric.
We've got plenty of time till Christmas, though.
Well, absolutely. So you can decide, if you're the sort of person that likes everything to match, you could decide to do it all at once so that they're all really matching.
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee that if I carry on and make all 6, they will all be slightly different because I'll do them at different times and in different ways. Now you've also got, on the other side of your templates, you've got a lovely picture to help you with your layout. So obviously you can freestyle it a bit yourself if you want to, but you've got a nice big picture of mine to show you how I did mine, and you can lay it out like that. So if you've traced off your bonder web shapes, remember to iron it with the wrong side, the bobbly adhesive side, down onto the wrong side of your fabric so that you don't kill your iron. And I'm going to just place them out a little bit. I've cut all my leaves out in advance, so I'm just quickly cutting the bow and the berries out to show you. So you can cut them out, and you can get an idea, place them on, and they look quite nice if they overlap a little bit. Again, we're wanting that sort of slightly natural look. And Debbie's having a little look through my instructions there. It's nice big pictures, aren't they?
They are. I love the instructions. You've got really nice quality instructions to start with, but everything's very clear and photographs of everything. It's just, I like to be
It's nice to be able to see what you're supposed to do.
Yes, absolutely.
Even if you know, you still like to see, I think.
Yes.
Yes, to make sure you're doing it right. So our holly leaves look nice in clusters of 3. 3s and 5s are always good, aren't they? Okay. But I would recommend that you get your bits cut out and be happy with your design, and then we'll peel and just iron them on. So you can take a few minutes to be happy with it and make sure it's all fitting how you want it to fit. Because you don't want to start peeling and ironing and then discover you can't fit some in over here and you've got a bit of a gap. Now you can see I was not very tidy just here. I'm going to strategically place my ivy leaf over it, and it'll look so much better. So it's a little bit forgiving as well.
But remember, you've got enough in the kit to make 6 of these, 6 of the mats and 6 of the coasters as well.
Well, you want a nice matching table, don't you?
Yes, yeah.
I think I've got an extra ivy leaf there. We don't need that one. Okay. And in your holly leaves and your ivy are in slightly contrasting fabrics, so hopefully that you can see the difference between them. Okay, so that's laid out similar to my plan. As I say, you can.
I like the bow slightly off centre as well, rather than right in the middle there.
Yeah.
Cute.
So peeling off the back, now sometimes that can be a bit like wrestling with double-sided sticky tape, absolute nightmare. But if you give them a really slight little tear, you can then get into them nice and quickly.
So do you know what you're doing at Christmas yet?
Well, now I have always spent Christmas with my mum and dad. However, we're a family of 5. So if they're not allowed to come, we're not sure. It's all a bit up in the air because it wouldn't be right without them, really. So we shall see. We are considering putting my dad in the garden, just on a little chair to wave in at us. And I know he'll be watching. I know he'll be watching right now. So, what do you think to that, Dad? Shall we put
with
you
a
in the
little
garden?
hat with a point on the end, maybe.
Yes. Do you know what? He has got a lovely little white beard, my dad, as well. He'd look like one, wouldn't he? We'll pass him his turkey out the window, and a little nip of whiskey to keep him warm. But I suspect at home, that's what we usually are. You were talking about decorations. Now, for many years we had an artificial Christmas tree that, when I ordered it, I did not anticipate how big 8 foot was. And the 8 foot, while quite high, is also really quite round.
Yes.
So for many, many years we've had this 8 foot tree that never fitted anywhere, and I had to always just move the entire land round to make it fit. Last year I was finally able to get rid of it. So that's good.
I did similar with a trampoline for the kids to play on in the garden. 12 foot didn't seem very big to me.
No.
We could camp under it. It's massive. It's great.
I do this a lot with things. It's like when I'm ordering things sometimes for the craft centre, I think, oh yeah, I'll buy in bulk. Have you any idea how big 10 kilos of stuffing is? Because of course, stuffing's very light, isn't it? So 10 kilos worth is massive.
My word. So I'm thinking normally it's in a 250 gram bag.
I know. So then you're like, okay, where am I going to store 10 kilos of stuffing?
Oh, bounce on it.
Yeah. Okay, so, and when you've peeled the backs off, you're going to pop your...
We have
leaves on.
a faux Christmas tree. I might go for one of those that you rent this year. Actually, we've got a Christmas tree in the garden. My daughter discovered it yesterday. And it's massive.
Oh,
it's just
brilliant.
hidden behind the tree, so we might just decorate that. But last time we had a real tree, I said to my husband, who was going out to buy said tree, can you get one of those where the needles don't drop off? I don't know what make they are, what strand they are, but you can get some of the needles don't drop off.
Yes.
It didn't. It was bald by the time he got home. One waft of the dog's tail made sure that the rest of the needles came off, and I decorated the thing, and we kept it up for 6 weeks. It was just literally
And it was
twigs.
like a twig.
It was twigs.
A twig with baubles.
Yes.
Well, because we've got a new puppy, I don't think we'll be having a big tree on the ground this year. But I do like the idea of renting in the pots, and they'll deliver and pick up for
and
you.
And then replant them for next year.
You know, that's nice and environmentally friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Linda loves the placemats.
Thank you, Linda.
Under normal circumstances, she'd have 17 people around on Christmas Day.
Yeah, but you're going to get a year off from that, aren't you? You know, there's a bit of as I suspect, around the country we're going, yes, we don't have to cater for 20 people this year. Oh, it won't be the same though, will it?
No, Skype Christmas isn't the same, is it? Oh, Amanda's asked how Stevie's getting on.
Oh, Amanda, she's doing really well.
This is Catherine's puppy.
Amanda's got a lovely dog called Mabel.
Oh.
Yes. Yes, she's doing great actually. Really good. She's out for walks now. She doesn't like the rain. And I discovered when I took her out in the rain on Friday that one Wellington boot leaked and my raincoat was not waterproof. So I was nearly as wet as the dog. But yeah, she's lovely. She was quite surprised to see me downstairs as early as I came down this morning to come here. She was a bit like, what are you doing up yet? I'm not up. Okay, so we've got all our design, all our leaves laid out and ironed on, ready to embroider. Now you could hand embroider if you wanted.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I heard you mention that, and if that's your thing that you like, go for it, I say. On my made up example, I did use 2 colours of thread. I'm not going to do that now just because of swapping it all over, but I actually used a white thread on the ivy, because ivy often does have a little bit of white in it, and then black on the other bits. But you could get fancy, you could get a bit metallic on it, couldn't you? Would be nice.
Yes.
Could use red, could use green. I'm going to use black just to keep the sort of sketchy idea going. So on the bow, I've putting in some of the detail of the bow, so to make it look a bit more bow shaped. So if you give yourself a bit of a circle in the middle, and then around the edge, and then I'm going to just some little lines to make it look like the fabric's folded. I'll come around to this side.
And this kit is exclusive. Not even on your website yet?
Not absolutely. This is his absolute first airing. Haven't even had time to put it up on my own website. So Sewing Street, have it first. Sorry, I can't hear you very well, Debbie, when that was going.
I thought that. You did look at me as if to say, what? What did you say?
So hopefully you can see I've gone round the bow there and just sort of put in some lines to make it look like the fabric of the bow. And then we're going to sort out the leaves, put some little veins and some detail on those, go round the berries. So I think if you're, if you've not tried free motion before, this is quite a good place to start, isn't it? Because you've got something to follow, and it's not too big.
Yes.
It's not like you're like chucking a king size quilt under here. You can manage it.
And the thing is with this technique, it doesn't have to be perfect. So it's a good practice piece. It doesn't want to be perfect. So just have a go. I said you'll be hooked on it. You become addicted. Everything gets free motion embroidered as often as I can at home.
It is a nice effect, isn't it? Definitely.
When you think about the precision of a lot of quilting type of stitches, this technique is nothing like that. It is very sketchy and scribbly, and go around a few times. It'll look more deliberate if you do it that way. What I find as well, if you're going to do a lot of this, is to get some of those quilter's gloves. Have you ever used those?
I haven't actually.
Haven't you?
No, but they do look quite good.
Yeah, they give you a lot of grip so you can hold your work down as you're moving it.
Some people I find like to put it in an embroidery hoop, or you can get special plastic hoops, can't you?
Yes.
That you can sit them in to sort of give you something to grip onto.
Yeah,
I'm I'm quite happy just sort of hanging on for dear life. I think when I teach free motion, I always find the thing that people forget to do is breathe. They hold their breath while they're doing it.
And keep your shoulders down.
Yeah.
Because you tend
and
to
remember
do
that you
this.
can stop. You can take your foot off the pedal. You haven't got to do the whole lot in one go. But
now I find if I want to do something really accurate and precise, then I'll use a hoop, because you can tend to do smaller movements with the hoop. But I wouldn't for this. I just like the freeness of the free motion, so to speak.
it is nice. It is like drawing.
Yeah.
And I like that it can be a little bit, well, free and a little bit untidy, and that's actually, I think, the nicest effect, really, isn't it?
Yes, I think so.
Now, I did think, Debbie, I've only used normal wadding with this, because on my dinner table at home I do have like another tablecloth. But if you were worried, you could use heat-proof wadding, couldn't you, in them? Depending, you know, what your preference is.
Thermalam ours, isn't it? We've got some on the website. And that's the one that it feels like felt, so it doesn't have the silver running through it, but it is heat resistant.
My mum, actually, I was showing her this, and she had a good idea that she would just put her normal placemats underneath them, so it didn't matter that they weren't heat-proof. And yeah, which I thought was a good idea.
Yeah, I like that. One would make a nice centrepiece as well, actually, wouldn't it? If you had an arrangement of something in the middle, maybe some those little faux candles that look nice. So if there's only 4 of you, then you could have a couple of placemat centerpieces in the middle as well.
You could use the template to make a bigger one if you wanted. Of course. Yeah. You just make a bigger circle and more holly leaves, couldn't you? Trouble is with Christmas dinners, sometimes you end up with so much on the table in the way of decoration, there's not room for all the food, is there?
That's true. So if you're teaching, what are people's concerns when they first start free motion embroidery?
First, usually it's just that feeling that there's nothing gripping, and getting used to that idea that you can move it in any direction.
Yeah.
That you're not just feeding it through like that, you know, that you can go forwards and backwards and you haven't got to stop and turn round, and it's just changing your mind, how you think about it, isn't it, really? I think people are often a bit nervous because I think it helps if you go quite quickly with free motion.
Quickly.
I think speed helps. So sometimes people are a bit nervous of going faster, but you know, don't be afraid, go for it.
So I've likened it before to learning to ride a bike. And when you first got a two-wheeler bike, you go slowly and you're a little bit wobbly. When you go fast, you find that you're straighter.
Yes.
And I feel it's the same with free motion.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yes, just being quite tense about it, and you've just got to, relax and breathe, I think, is the main thing. And don't worry if it's not perfect, because it's not designed to be. It's a different kind of technique, isn't it? Just have fun with it, really.
It is fun because you're creating an art, but you don't need to be an artist to do it, because you're basically tracing around the edge of a template that you've already got. And nobody's going to say, oh, you stitched that wrong, because it all kind of looks wrong, if that makes sense, because the stitches are all over the place.
Yes, you have to make your stitch nice and small. This has got a great setting on here that it just sets the stitch how you need to, but
right.
If your machine at home, you might have to just make your stitch as tiny as it will go. And I think also the thing that people have to learn to do is to move it very, very smoothly.
Yes.
Else you can get big stitches and small stitches, can't you? So it's all about being really quite smooth in how you move it too.
The speed that you move the fabric depicts the length of the stitch, doesn't it? So if you imagine you're going to move it very quickly, you'll have a long stitch, and then followed by slowly, it'll be a small stitch. So just do the same movement. And if it goes a little bit wrong, put another holly leaf on top.
Well, absolutely, yes, absolutely.
Build them up. Elizabeth said, don't forget to breathe and don't forget to move the fabric. I think that was from experience.
I think when I'm just watching myself doing it there, not really moving a great deal in a way.
Yeah.
It's possibly the movements are less than you realise. Right.
Yeah, that's actually really relaxing to watch. It's quite hypnotic.
Just got a couple more leaves to do.
Remember, you've got enough and a little bit extra actually to make 6 of these mats and 6 of the coasters as well. I just think it's lovely to have them all matching like that. You could even use the templates, and you've got some green fabric left over. If you're going to make your own Christmas crackers maybe, and have the same applique on other items on the Christmas table. Don't think we're doing Christmas presents this year.
Aren't you?
No, only for the kids.
Well, that's no bad thing. My children at the age where they all want kind of quite big, expensive things.
Oh, part-time job. I was told I used to have a newspaper round. So I go delivering newspapers before school, and then I'd babysit on a Friday night. If you wanted anything, you had to earn it.
What was your first part-time job, Debbie?
So working at the delivering newspapers.
Oh, mine was in a fish and chip shop.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that was my Saturday job. And I learned how to do everything. So by the time I left my Saturday job, I could have opened a fish and chip shop. I got taught how to do the fish and make the batter and fry and everything. Yeah. So it was quite useful. Although you did smell. It did give you a bit of a greasy smell. Okay, so you can see I've gone round pretty quickly.
What was your first ever proper job, full-time job?
My first ever full-time job that I actually got paid for. I worked for the Royal Academy of Dancing, and I used to organise teacher training courses for dance teachers.
Oh wow.
That was my first proper job. I've done all sorts of things, I have. Right.
Funny how things turn out, though, isn't it? And look where you are now.
I know.
But if somebody would have said to you back then, this is what you're going to be doing in 2020, you'd have...
No, not in a million years.
No.
Now, I do need the cutting mat, which is over there, and I didn't think I did, so I'm just gonna grab that.
We have a moving pavement behind here, so we can glide around the studio.
Just to trim my wadding down, and then we'll do a... Now, the reason I've done a folded over border on this, because if you put a bound edge on it, it's a bit bulky, and I found, because my first prototype I did a nice bound edge, and I thought, oh, it's a bit bulky and it doesn't really lie flat. And you don't want your plate wobbling and your gravy spilling on the table, do you? So I changed it to a folded over edge, but that's quite nice. And cutting ruler. Okay, so I'm just going to trim it down to the edge of my rectangle so it's nice and neat. My rotary cutter might need a new blade.
Now, again, I suppose if you're confident with your sewing, you could carry on, couldn't you? You could maybe put initials in the centre.
You could make them, yes, you know, Dad, Mum.
Yeah.
Granny, Auntie Mabel, everyone who's going to...
Oh, Kat says you could put on there, if you can see this message, fill up my plate.
Absolutely. I mean, you could do like Happy Christmas round it.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
If you're into, because actually free motion writing is really fun to do as well, isn't it?
Oh, then you're going to need your early bird friction pens.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Okay, so the backing rectangles are 42 centimetres by 35 centimetres. So that
and this needs to be quite exact now, doesn't it?
Yes, you should have 3.5 centimetres each side.
Right.
I'm just... So you want it nicely in the middle. Okay, your fabric is going to go right up to the edge and then fold in back on itself. And you need to pin all your sides first before you do your corners. I love how neat it looks when you start to get your border on. It's so pleasing. I mean, you can press it, but I'm finding it's nice cotton. It just sort of finger presses into place. But you can press it if you wish.
It's a nice technique to learn this one as well, isn't it? If you're thinking of going on the quilting journey, if you haven't before, because the same kind of finish you'd use on
absolutely
a grown-on quilt, isn't it?
Yes. I quite like backing quilts this way.
Yeah. I want to see how you're going to miter the corners.
Well, do you know what? I have a particular way of doing it. I don't know if it's the right way, but it's my way.
Well, the finished result looks perfect, so
that's good then.
That's the right way to me.
So what I do, you can tell me if you do the same thing. So I get my point all nice like this, and then I actually snip it down about half. Whoops.
That's a clever way. So
Err
I
on
would
the
have
side of
cut it first.
Err on the side of caution. Don't cut too much. You can always trim more. You can't put it back on. And then I fold it, tuck it all in on itself, pop a little pin.
Perfect.
And it does tend to work every time. Sometimes you have to do a little fiddle. I think if you've not done them before, just be careful about how much you are trimming. That's all. Yeah. So yes, that's how I do my mitered corners.
No, I've not seen that before. I said I would be I'd fold the edges over twice, press, then open up, then measure across the corner and cut it, and then that's so much quicker. Love learning something new. Every day.
That's the way I've told you to do it in the instructions in the kit as well.
Right.
But I think this is the nice thing about sewing. There are many ways to do the same thing, and you know, you don't have to be precious about it. You find your way that you like, and as long as you get a nice result, it's all right, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay. Let's see, so.
Perfect, I love that. That's so quick.
Well, do you know what? I'm feeling quite pleased to have shown you something you hadn't seen before. Because I suspect there isn't much you haven't seen, sewing-wise.
Do you know, I end up really kind of cocooned in my own personal little bubble at home, and not take very much notice of what other people do. I just kind of get on with it. And there's so many techniques that I don't know about that it's lovely to learn. There are so many products that I've got no idea about.
Well, that's true. Coming on here, I've learned about loads of products that I hadn't, you know, heard of or used, and it's like, oh, actually, they're really good, really useful. So, you know what? We just never stop learning, really. We can always learn something, can't we? I think I find that because I have other tutors come into the craft centre, and I'm always, you can always pick up little tips from people. It's great. So there we go. 4 very nice corners.
So are your classes up and running again now?
Oh yes, yes. We've been up and running for a little while. I do a lot of cleaning. It's all extremely clean. We're all very social distanced, and it's great. It's just so nice to have. And I think people finding to come out and about again is really nice. Here we go. Now I'm going to hand stitch my border because I think it just makes a really nice finish. You could stitch round the edge if you want to. I sometimes find it will go a bit rookily though.
Yeah. And
not stay quite as neat as you want to. So really, really nice little invisible slip stitch is what you need.
This is my TV sewing.
I like doing this bit.
I love it, and I find it not just therapeutic and calming and relaxing. It's so rewarding when you see, because you can see tiny, tiny little even stitches. I'm quite meticulous about that.
Yes. This is possibly the neatest sort of hand sewing I do. And I do take real pleasure from getting it really neat and even. Yeah. What do you think? Does it look all right on my example one?
I think it's lovely. And I do like to see that. Because when I first saw them up, I didn't realise that you'd use that kind of binding. I just assumed it was bias binding. I thought, oh, you've hand stitched from the top. I normally do that on the back. Then I realised what you'd actually done there. I like to see that hand stitching. I think it just goes to show that you have handmade something, and that, you know, every one of these stitches has been, like with the embroidery that we did before, stitched with love.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. I mean, I do, well, I intend to hopefully finish making the whole set. I do get a bit, you know, waylaid in other projects, but I, you know, would get it out every year really, really happily. I have to say, I'm very pleased with my own design.
Yeah, it's lovely. So what are you working on at the moment? Anything you can share?
Ooh, well, I've been working on some, like I was talking to you about hand embroidery earlier, because I do a once a month mindful stitch club at the craft centre.
All right.
And and we do a different sort of hand stitching every month, which is really nice. And so my plan is that what we do in the club will also be available as a kit. So if you're not lucky enough to live near Market Harbour and come and see me, then you can still do some of the nice projects. So yeah, that and looking after a puppy, that's my life at the moment. She's a real time waster.
Yeah. Best way to waste time though, isn't it?
It is really
like
nice.
A puppy.
She smells ready for a bath, to be honest. She is a little bit stinky. She's very, very fond of cat poo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she can sniff it out.
Oh.
So I think she's got a bath coming up this week.
Bobbin's rather partial to fox poo. And I read somewhere, I mean, it might work and I just got it wrong, but one of the best ways, because you can't get, it's like tar, you just can't get rid of the smell, and even when you can't see it anymore, it's still there. And the tip that I read was to put ketchup on it. I ended up with a red dog that smelt of fox poo. It didn't work.
So you're running around the garden squirting ketchup on things.
Yeah.
I've been told Tabasco. And they only take one lick and then they realise it's hot, and but that does seem like it could be a bit mean. I don't know.
Yeah.
I am new to dog owning, so I don't know. Let me know. What should I do?
I don't understand the appeal. I don't get. It's like dead frogs. Why do they see a dead frog and think, oh, I like the smell of that, and have a good right in the collar and up the neck and everything. I'd love that kind of aroma.
Oh well, Stevie the other morning she went ferreting under the hedge, and came bombing out something in her mouth. Dead starling.
Oh.
Round around the lounge, 100 miles an hour.
Oh,
Whoa,
well, they're so pleased with
look
themselves.
what I've got, yeah. I'm running after her going, stop. Oh, and then I had to clear away this dead starling. It's like, oh no. All good fun. I need Amanda to come back to my classes, because she'll be telling me what to do with dogs. Her lovely dog Mabel goes to Crufts, you know. She's very
She has recently had a haircut, apparently.
Has she? I bet she looks very smart. Send me a photo, Amanda.
I used to show, we used to keep English Bull Terriers, always had English Bull Terriers. We used to show the first one that we had. And we actually went to a show where in one of the categories there was only one entrant, and he came second.
Oh,
that was just so disappointing.
Bless him. So when I hand stitch the corners, I tend to go all the way down and then all the way back, just to make them extra secure.
So I like to do that as well. I know it's not necessary to sew a mitered corner because it's not going to come undone, but it just sits flatter, doesn't it? It looks neater when they're sewn as well. Now remember, you're getting enough fabric and patterns and everything in the kit to make 6 of these. So 6 of the mats and 6 of the coasters as well. So you've got a whole tape. You're not allowed any more than 6 at the moment, so that's well planned. But it's a great introduction to what may be a new technique for you. I think they're so classic and stylish, and yes, you were right, Katherine, when you said earlier on they've kind of got a modern twist to them. I like the foiling in the fabrics because it adds a little bit of glitz but without being too sparkly. If you want sparkle, you could use some metallic threads and maybe outline the leaves to make them glisten a little bit more. And I like the flexibility of being able to position these where you want to, add more if you wanted to, and choose the colour of the thread that you like as well. And it's nice to have, I think there's something quite comforting about having the same things that come out year after year at Christmas time. It's homely,
it's part
isn't
of the
it?
traditions, isn't
Yeah.
it? I mean, actually, it'd be nice to make as a set for somebody
yes,
as well,
that's a
wouldn't
nice
it?
idea,
I mean,
yes.
I'd be pleased if if someone made it for me and I didn't have to. No. But I always like getting homemade gifts. Really do.
You don't spend time and trouble and effort making something for just anybody. It's special, isn't it? It makes the person feel special. Yeah, they would make a lovely gift.
So, I've come unthreaded. Right.
Oh, well done.
I've got my eye in now. Morning of hand stitching.
Yeah, but I think initials would be nice. If you know who you're going to give these to.
They'd be lovely if you know who's coming to Christmas dinner. Or if you've got, if you always have your children to pop their initials on.
I buy the girls, my granddaughters, a special Christmas bauble every year from a well-known glass company, because I just imagine that by the time they're 30, their trees are going to be amazing, and they do like a special edition one every year.
That's such a nice idea.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that they're going to be intact. I don't know where they're being kept at the moment. They're not even allowed to open their own presents with those on Christmas Day.
Oh, that's a lovely thing to do. I've got a lovely eclectic set of decorations, because when my mum and dad go on holidays to far off places, they bring us back a Christmas decoration.
Oh,
so I've got things like a Hawaiian Santa playing a guitar, and I've got like a San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge, and just really cool different things from different places. And they all go on. Oh, and the best thing is a little sparkly gherkin, because apparently, I think it's an American tradition, you hide the gherkin on the tree and then people have to search for it. So I always hide the gherkin for the children to find.
Do you? I'd rather hide a chocolate.
My son loves gherkins. When he was a baby, I could bribe him with gherkins. He liked them so much.
Wow.
I know.
I don't know whether it's true or not, but I was told once that the reason that a well-known burger bar put gherkins on their burgers was because there was so much sugar in them, they would have been deemed as a dessert. That might not be true,
Possibly.
But it's very interesting.
Possibly. There's a certain place, their bread's not bread, is it? Because it's got so much sugar in.
Really?
They've just found. Yes, it was in the news this weekend, a well-known sandwich chain.
I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. We want to know who it is now, because there's a big sandwich chain place right at the end of the road.
Yes, it could be nearby.
That's the one last time I was in. I had a pie for breakfast because it was practically all they got. They didn't even want any sandwiches.
Do we think scones are acceptable for breakfast? We were having a little debate about this.
I don't see why not. I think whatever you have for breakfast is acceptable, because you've got the whole of the rest of the day to work it off then, haven't you?
Yes, I suppose so. Right, speedy hand sewing all the way around. We're nearly there. So I think, if you're someone who quite likes a pliqué, it's quite a nice little pliqué project. I mean, if you don't have to free motion it, you could get really careful with it and do, proper, careful edge to a pliqué if you really wanted to, which would give it a really nice look as well, actually. It's personal preference, I would say.
No, I like the free motion. It's something that I do get really hooked on.
Have you seen, I can't remember her name, there's a textile artist, and she actually creates portraits in free motion.
There was
amazing.
Oh gosh, what is her name? There's a lady who makes quilts with images of people, but when you look really closely, it's a story.
Oh wow!
So the whole image, it looks like a black and white photograph, but when you look really closely, it's all made from words. It's so clever.
Really clever.
But I bet she started doing something like this. Everybody has to start somewhere.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Do you know, that's hand sewing that you imagine to be really time consuming. You've actually almost finished that.
Yes, I am fairly speedy, but yes, it's not that time consuming really.
So hasn't today gone quickly? We're almost out of time. We've only got a couple of minutes left.
Where's the morning gone? It's flown by this morning.
Chris wants to see photos of Mabel and Stevie. And Leanne says, fab show, I love a good mitered corner. And she's watching whilst making memory cushions out of shirts. That's a nice idea.
I will try and remember to post. I am a member of the Sewing Street Fans Facebook group, so I will try and remember to post a picture of Stevie later when I get home.
So is Stevie named after anybody?
No, for many, many years I've had a virtual dog, because I've always wanted a dog, but not being able to have one. And my virtual dog was called Stevie. I'm not sure why, but it was. And so when we were actually going to get a real dog, the children were just like, well, there's no question about this. It has to be called Stevie. And we tried out lots of other names, but Stevie is the one that everybody liked and stuck with.
I thought you might have been a Fleetwood Mac fan or something.
No, not after anybody. Although the children, Stevie and Miranda, they're one of the characters in the comedy series is called Stevie, so they thought it was after that. But no, I just like it. It just, I don't know. It seems to suit her. Am I going to get to the end before you get to the end?
We've got about 2 minutes.
Oh, I think I might. Except I'm going to need a new bit of cotton in a minute. It's like your speed sewing on that bag earlier when your bobbin ran out. Sod law, eh?
Yeah, and it's always just 2 or 3 inches before you get to the end when you run out of thread.
Of course it is. Look,
no matter how long
I've got that long to go, that much to go.
Now remember, this is exclusive to us, so Katherine hasn't even got these on her own website yet. You can't buy them anywhere else at the moment. Enough in the kit to make 6, and you've got all of your templates and very nicely printed instructions, I have to say, very clearly explained as well. So if you're brand new to sewing in general, as long as you can use a sewing machine, then have a go. So there's a little bit of hand sewing, a little bit of free motion embroidery, and a lot of fun. And you've got something really classy that you're going to be able to bring out year after year after year. This is going to be your tradition going forward, I think. We've got a snowman ornament with like 2 balls, and it's all glittering. It's got a springy neck that we had when we were kids, me and my sister. So the spring's gone, so it's a bit like that. But it comes out, pipe's broken and everything, but it still comes out every year because it's not Christmas without him.
Absolutely. That, I think, Christmas is all about those lovely traditions, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okie dokie, there we go.
Well done. 4 more to go.
Absolutely. So.
Yeah, that's absolutely stunning. And you could maybe put the bows in different positions on different mats to make them all individual.
Yes.
Yeah, that's absolutely gorgeous. Thank you so much.
A pleasure.
So,
as
do you know when you're back?
Actually 3 weeks, I believe, because I'm having a little holiday.
Oh, are you?
Yes.
Holiday as in going away or just having a break?
Well, all being well, provided we're not, told we can't go. We're just going to have a little week in Devon is the plan.
Oh, how lovely.
Yeah, we haven't had a holiday this year. Our main holiday got cancelled, so nice little break at half term, that'd be good.
Taking some sewing with you?
I will no doubt take something. I'm not very good having nothing to do. But I do read a lot of books on holiday, actually.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So.
And you've got a long journey down there as well. So.
Yes, with a small dog and 3 children.
Lots of stop-offs. Have a lovely day again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll see you in a few weeks' time. Let's give you a reminder of what you're actually getting. To start off with, this is what you're going to be opening when you receive your package at home. So, beautifully packaged box, which you could use again, stick another label over the top, put a bow around it. Inside said box, you are going to receive your fabric, so 2 different shades of the green, one for your holly and one for your ivy. You've got your backing fabric in the white, you've got your berry and bow fabric in the foiled red, and then your berry backing fabric and binding, which is in the bright red there as well. And these are your instructions, so again very clearly explained. It's more like a little booklet than just a list of instructions with your patterns. So you've got all of these going forward, so to speak. So if you wanted to make these in different colours, then of course you can do. So if you're having a silver and blue Christmas, then use your green and reds for another project. Use these for what you like. So all of this is £32.99, exclusive to us, so you can't buy them anywhere else. I think it's quite nice to have something that nobody else has got. And this is what you're going to be making times 6. And 6 of the coasters to match. So you're going to have a very stylish Christmas dinner table this year. In fact, it's not just Christmas, is it? Holly and ivy are around for winter time. In fact, they're around all year round. So this is something that you may be bringing out on New Year's Eve or any time around Christmas time when we're allowed to have visitors. Or as Katherine said, what a lovely gift this would make to give somebody for Christmas. In fact, the kit for somebody who sews would be really nice for Christmas, wouldn't it? So all of that for £32.99. If you wanted any extra, as in wadding, because you're going to need wadding to go in there, or the bondle web, and don't forget we've got your Frixion pen offer if you've got any left from your early bird this morning. If you wanted to draw out what you're going to embroider before you embroider, if you find that easier, pop those, they're Christmassy colours, pop those onto your order as well and have a look on the website for anything else that you're going to need. All for 1p&p, remember that's what we do. So £3.95 postage all day. If you've already ordered your early bird and you want to come back and order your placemat set, then no more postage for you to pay. Let's take a look at what's coming up tomorrow. You've got Neil tomorrow. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm only saying that because he's probably watching. Miss Out Fabrics is at 8 o'clock in the morning. At 9 o'clock is your Rose Trail quilt with Sarah and Harrison. At 10 o'clock, Neil's Tools and Accessories coming up. And then at 11 o'clock, it's not that. Well, that was today. And then at 12 o'clock, it'll be a repeat of the quoted embroidery hoops with Katherine that was on earlier on. We are still here for the next hour, although we're not live. So we've got Rebecca with one of the repeats from yesterday. Yeah, keep an eye out for tomorrow. I don't know what Neil's up to. He hasn't told anybody. He's got a surprise for you. He hasn't told anybody else here, so I'm hoping it's going to be all right. He is the MD, so I suppose he knows what he's doing. So he just says, yeah, tune in at 8 o'clock, and he's got a better deal than a discount. The only thing better than a discount is giving something away, isn't it? Just say, I don't know, he hasn't said. I shall see you again bright and early on Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. So enjoy the rest of your week, enjoy the rest of your weekend up until Sunday. And if you can, I'd love to see you then. Bye-bye.